Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the TripleJump podcast. It's a video game podcast. My name is Ben.
My name is Peter.
And my name is Ashton.
Peter, how you feeling this week?
I feel all right. I sound like this, but I feel, particularly today, actually, I feel better, a lot better than I did yesterday, and a lot better than I did the day before. Time of recording, we may have just opened the tap yesterday.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
It was a long day.
So maybe that's the cure I needed.
Yeah.
Just a bit of, mystery savoury snacks from Japan.
Yes.
Sweet snacks from Europe, or whatever it was that we ate. I don't remember. And
Some kind words.
some kind words,
Yeah.
and 8 hours in a room with you two. Yeah. So I'm better, and you two have probably got whatever I've had.
I was going to say, I'm just coming off the back of something myself. So
Yeah.
it's your turn.
I
to
feel
get
fine,
very unwell.
actually.
Okay.
I
Maybe
feel
it's
fine.
Boy flu. We've had boy flu.
Probably. Yeah, could
Yeah.
have been
Just the
that.
two of us. You good, Ashton?
Yeah.
Did you enjoy yesterday, the
I
Tatapil
had a
unboxing?
wonderful time yesterday. I always have a wonderful time during the tap unboxing.
Yeah.
And I ate lots of snacks.
Yes.
So much so that I had sweets for breakfast.
It's the dream.
It's the dream.
It's our first Christmas.
I was quite hungry this morning and we haven't quite sorted out all of the snacks. It was just some of the bags that were open from yesterday. And I really liked these sour worms that we got.
The packaging.
Yeah,
Do you want to show people what you had for breakfast?
Yeah, I had the trolley sour bright crawlers, very berry.
Right.
Very
This was my
berry.
breakfast.
Sour gummy worm.
There was like
kind
a
of
I
thing.
had
third
two as
of a
well.
pack left. So I probably had about one serving size of worms for breakfast.
You feel good for that so far?
Worms
Yeah.
for breakfast.
Queen of the
It's
tummy aches.
a
Do you
sea
feel
of
all right
thieves
so
on the
far?
front.
Yeah, they're Sea
Does
of
it?
Sea of Thieves sponsored ones.
That's
Nice.
fun.
Free in-game content with purchase.
Oh, is there a code you can read out for all the Sea of Thieves
Oh, you have to
fans?
snap a photo of your receipt
Oh,
No,
it's too
no.
late for us
and
then,
then send it to
unfortunately.
Xbox.
It's not going to happen.
Rubbish. We didn't even buy them. Thank you to whoever did. I can't remember who. It was.
Yes, it was an incredible day yesterday.
Yeah, it
It
was.
was, humbling as always to be sent such a ginormous pile of things, and so many of them were so lovely, and all the letters were really nice as well. So thank you everybody who sent Tat. That video should be with you next week.
Next
I think it's
Saturday,
on the
I think.
schedule for next week.
Should be.
So that'll be a huge, great big video winging its way to you soon as we open all of that stuff. This week, though, at the time of recording, the Game Awards have not happened.
No.
We're in fine spirits. We're
Yes.
in decent health, despite having eaten only beef jerky and sweeties yesterday.
Yeah.
By the time we get to the end of this podcast, all hell will have broken loose.
Yes.
Because we're recording
There's a
this
time
on
jump in this podcast.
on the Thursday morning.
Yeah.
And then we'll be recording the big discussion on Friday morning after we've had 2-3 hours sleep.
3 hours.
Yeah, so if you're wondering why we've not started this podcast going, oh my God, did
Wow.
you see that stage invasion at the Game Awards where that person came and
Hasn't
said that
happened
thing?
yet.
It's not happened yet, so we don't
Yeah.
know about it yet, but
But when it gets to big discussion and then it does the beow, and then comes back to it, we might then be like, oh my
Huge.
God.
God.
Bags
And we'll be
under
running
our
on about
eyes.
3.5 hours sleep and just doing it for the love of the game.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Coming straight in to record a big discussion for you.
So when you're hearing this, it's too late. But if you were there, we hope you enjoyed our live reactions to the Game Awards on YouTube. We're an official co-streamer this year, as we are every year. And the VOD of that should be up very soon, if not already, on the VODs channel. So you can watch it with us, watch it back quick. Pause the podcast, go watch it, and then watch the rest of the podcast. And then, you've got plenty of time.
Yeah.
You're the master of your own destiny. There's a few things we need to talk about before we crack on with the podcast. The first thing, of course, is the sponsor. And each and every week, we're sponsored by a very real video game adjacent sponsor. Helps us keep the single bulb on in here. Is Dead Island 2 the spider around? There's one in your bathroom. I saw
there's
him.
always one in my bathroom.
Yeah.
I think he likes it in there. I don't know why. It's cold and people keep using it to go
Using it.
Yeah.
to do stinks in.
Not me. That's
Someone
for sure.
did something really bad in there on, I guess, Monday morning
What
or
was it?
possibly Friday night.
I wasn't
And-
in on Monday, so it wasn't me.
No, I know. I came in on Monday and I was halfway through the day. I was doing a voiceover downstairs, trying to. I was doing a single take, and I went into your toilet because someone was upstairs, and my God, it was not good in there.
People keep using it to do absolutely ungodly things.
Yeah.
It's because
And then
your room
leaving
has...
it for me to just experience after the fact. And I'm like, are you joking?
Yeah.
Your bathroom has more space in it than our bathroom.
So
So that's what I think. That's why people have pinpointed as like I I can spread out down here.
Yeah,
I
but
only
it's
spread out down there
recently
if someone's in ours. You know, it's not.
it's recently got much worse. Like people are using it a lot more now, and they're doing some horrible things in it. I need people to just like either if they're gonna do a poo, do it in their bathroom.
Yeah.
Because I mean this with respect, men. I don't know what you're all eating, but it's horrific. I have IBS and it's nothing as bad as what is being done in my toilet.
Men's do eat bad things, don't they?
I don't know
They do
what's
be
going
doing
on.
that.
Yeah, gravel and things like
It's
that.
terrible. It's really bad.
love
So
eating dirt
anyway,
and things.
there's a spider in there. So I don't know why. I think it maybe might just be dead.
Just loves to
from the
stink.
fumes.
He's
He's also
killed
there.
from the
He
fumes.
just wants to use your toilet. That's
Yeah,
why
yeah,
he's
He's
yeah.
waiting very
Yeah,
patiently.
probably.
But no, we're not. Hang on. What am I trying to say? I'm getting back on track now. Dead Island 2, the
Sponsor.
spider is not in here. We're talking about this week's sponsor. I have the sponsor. I have the ad read in front of me here. Exciting news that Disney are producing a new line of educational kids books to help teach them basic skills. We've been sponsored by one of those this week. It actually ties into a video game that's just come out, which you might be surprised to know about. That's where the connection is here.
Right.
This one teaches basic colors. So if you're looking for something to buy little Timmy or insert other name,
Becky?
Sadie.
Becky, yeah, Sadie.
Sadie.
Okay. Which one do you like the most out of those?
Of those two,
Becky or Sadie?
well, I suggested Becky.
All right, so you're
And it
biased.
is my auntie's name as well.
All right.
Okay, you doxed your auntie there.
Well, my Uncle Sadie's going to be very disappointed.
Yeah.
Okay, well, for either little Johnny, did I say Johnny or Timmy?
I don't even
Timmy.
know. What is the sponsor?
For either little Timmy or Johnny or Becky or Sadie, then make sure you go to Waterstones or other bookstores and get yourself a copy of Indiana Jones, That Grape's Purple.
That grape's purple.
Right.
Indiana Jones, That Grape's Purple.
So it's an Indiana Jones book, but
Yeah.
like about colours.
Yes,
Cute.
this one's called Indiana Jones, That Grape's Purple.
I wasn't expecting Disney to. I wasn't expecting it to be Indiana Jones when he said Disney, but
I had to Google it. They do
technically,
own them, yeah.
Well, it's Lucasfilm, isn't
He
it?
belongs to them now. So make sure you go get yourself
Everyone
a copy
belongs
of
to them.
Yeah.
Indiana Jones, That Grape's Purple.
Lovely.
And teach your little one how to do colours.
Are there any other colours
it
or
just-
fruits?
No, it's mainly.
grapes?
This one's just about purple. There's one for all the colours.
Right.
Fuchsia is a particularly good one.
Back to the fuchsia.
Yes, exactly. Oh my God, look at this guy. He's on it.
When I was a kid, I had a book from Disney that was like Snow White, but it had my name in it.
Yeah.
I had a Batman one.
Yeah, I had a
Yeah.
Spider-Man one. Pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
Peter saved the city.
I did save the city. From,
I saved the
from
city as
Catwoman.
well. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What did you save the city from?
I
Did you do a
didn't.
fashion
I think
show?
I
An
just.
evil queen.
I think I just helped Snow White wake up.
That's not very fun, is it? You want to
Well,
fight
girls'
crime?
things were never as fun as
Was it
boys.
with a
things.
non-consensual kiss? Is that how you helped her?
Not
wake
me. No, I'm a child in the book, so that's
up? All right.
weird.
That would be really weird, actually.
I think I just helped the
Didn't
dwarves.
really think that through before I asked the question.
Yeah.
but,
Weirdo,
you know.
freak.
Big freak.
Classic Sadie fan over here.
Yeah.
No, we're not sponsored, unfortunately, by Indiana Jones. That Grape's Purple. We are sponsored by wonderful
Because it's not
patrons.
real.
And yeah, I said that.
Oh, did you? Okay.
I
Sorry.
think so.
I don't
Did
know
I?
if you did, but
What's
anyway.
happening?
Is it
Hello?
real?
Are you sure we've not lost our minds already?
I feel a bit tired today, so I'm not looking forward to how I'm going to be tomorrow morning.
Sorry for derailing that, but I didn't remember you saying it's not real, so I don't know. But
God, well, it
could
could
be
I
me.
figured
might
out
be a
that it
me
wasn't
problem.
real.
It might
but-
actually be real at this point.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. It's not real though, and it's not our sponsor. We're sponsored by our wonderful patrons over at patreon.com/Team TripleJump. We got lots of lovely letters in the Tatapeel from people who said that they took the plunge on the Patreon this year and have thoroughly enjoyed it. So consider going and checking it out. Early access to worst and weirdest games, exclusive access to rules boss and main menu. We've got loads of new
I
cookbooks.
forgot to put my Christmas jumper on.
Yeah,
Why don't you borrow the hat?
No, it's okay.
borrowed the hat last time.
I'll put it on next
Not
week.
this
I'll put it on tomorrow. Sorry, no, it's fine. It's in the office. I just forgot to put it on.
Sad. Patreon.com. Thank you so much to our patrons /Team TripleJump. There's also our website, triplej.mup. That's where you can find links to everything we do. Our YouTube, Twitch, Discord, Cameo. Our shop is triplejumpshop.com. Get yourself some amazing merchandise. You are wearing merch.
I am wearing merch.
that's good.
You can't see it because it's behind the Christmas tree.
Nice.
There we are. Lovely jumper there. I thought you just ripped it.
Lovely jumper. That's what Del Boy says. Isn't
Lovely
it?
jumper.
Lovely jumper.
Are we
the
ever
West
going to do the
Country.
podcast?
I don't know. I'm really trying. Okay, it's really hard this morning. Out this week, obviously, there's the Game Awards. We're doing the live stream. The Game of the Year post is on Patreon, isn't it, Ashton?
Yes, please tell me your game of the year. You have until the 18th to tell me your game of the year, and then the poll will be going out on the 20th for you to fill in ahead of the podcast, which will be recorded on the 2nd of January. So make sure you get that stuff
Get your voice heard.
ASAP.
Get involved with our Game of the Year podcast. Finally, a little bit of self-promotion. I will be doing a big, long charity stream on the 29th of December. I'm playing through all of Ride to Hell Retribution, and I'm going to hate it.
Fun.
So do come along on the 29th of December at 11 a.m. when I will be starting my playthrough. It's also technically a speed run because, surprisingly, nobody's finished it and submitted a time on PlayStation 3.
Wonderful. We might be competing for people's money. Because I'm also doing a charity stream.
We're going to fight.
On the 23rd, I believe.
23rd? That's fine. You've got a whole week to save
Monday,
up.
Yeah.
23rd of December. I've had to delay it. I was going to do it earlier, but
He's all sickly.
But this happened.
Yeah, he's
but
poorly boy.
23rd of December, I'm going to finally get my ass all the way through Sparrow the Dragon without breathing fire from start to finish and save every dragon as well.
No big deal.
I'm not doing one of those, but I am doing a Christmas quiz next week. If
Oh,
anyone
yeah.
wants to come
along to that. Loads of amazing live things happening. There'll be news on social media and so on telling you when things are. But the 23rd?
Yes.
23rd at the usual time, 5 p.m.?
No, it's going to start. I have to start early. So it's going to be, I think, 10 a.m.
Oh, 10 a.m. on
10
Monday the
a.m.
23rd for a Spyro challenge. And then on the 29th, come and watch me play Ride to Hell Retribution. And it's going to be bad. Wonderful. All these amazing things to look forward to. Shall we start question 1?
Let's.
You're right, Ashton. You look like you've lost your mind.
I'm fine.
Sure.
I just felt like that intro, I honestly felt like it went on for 1,000 years.
It did.
Like,
You can't say that because then they're going to think that.
No, they don't. They don't think that. They enjoyed it.
They loved
but
all of it.
In
They
my
did no
tat unboxing
in my
yesterday.
head, like that went on for. I think maybe the sugar all just hit me, and I felt like it was going.
You just
in slow
traveled through
motion.
time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, fair enough. Question 1's from Dan Scott, who says, "Hello, Bap. Ubisoft have announced that servers for X Defiant will be closed next June after just over a year. And Rocksteady have also confirmed that support for Suicide Squad will cease in January after just under a year. Just 2 more L's for the live service model in quick succession. What next for these 2 developers? Will they both pursue another slice of the live service pie, or do you anticipate a change of direction? Much love to you all."
Thank you, Dan.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you, Dan. I mean, depending on how serious you want to get about the word developer / studio / team who have been working on these things, I mean, as far as X Defiant goes, sadly, that team in and of itself, Ubisoft San Francisco, is closing down.
Yeah.
So those people, I mean...
And Osaka.
Sorry, what?
And Ubisoft Osaka as well.
Oh,
who also
and
did
Osaka,
X
yeah.
Defiant.
I thought you said and a sucker. I was like, oh, who's that? Who are you
No,
referring
I
to?
wasn't.
No. So, I mean, obviously those members of staff, I'm sure will go on to other things, so they will go and work on separate stuff. But Ubisoft as a whole, I guess, is part of the question there. I wonder if, I mean, certainly in terms of what's next for Ubisoft, we already know about some stuff they're working on. But even in terms of going further ahead into the mysterious future, they're always going to be doing their Assassin's Creeds and their Far Cries. I don't think there's any question about that. But for the live service question, I think maybe because it's Ubisoft and they're just one of those big companies who usually do things that we don't really like them to do, I can see them just having another crack at it and probably even just doing it again with a Tom Clancy franchise or a new sort of a new kind of one under that banner potentially. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if in a year or so we're suddenly getting, a new Tom Clancy shooter live service game from Ubisoft. It's not X Defiant, it's something else, but it's basically the same thing. I mean, there's probably a reason why they're shutting it down, and maybe the sensible thing would be to think, perhaps we should be doing something else, something different, or no live service at all. But it wouldn't surprise me in the least if they just thought, no, what we need to do is just do another Tom Clancy shooter, but just rebrand it a bit, maybe. Let's just do that. As for Rocksteady, I mean, I would like them to maybe do that Superman game that was cancelled. That would be nice. But again, there were reasons why they cancelled that, I guess. I think they said that they found it difficult with the scale and the verticality and Superman's abilities. It's probably quite difficult to make a Superman game, given that he is a bit OP.
He's a god.
Yeah. You need to give everyone kryptonite, in which case it's like, well, what's the point of me being Superman anyway? But maybe a Superman game would be good. I mean, it would be really nice if they just did another Arkham game, just a new mainline installment. Wouldn't that be wonderful? I somehow feel like, I don't know, just feels like they're done with that, but I'm not sure.
It is rumoured at the moment.
It's rumoured, but I mean, why stop in the first place? I mean, I guess they just wanted
to give a big shark a gun. That's
I guess so. But the other thing that we know they're working on at the moment, they're apparently assisting with a director's cut of That Wizard game that Warner Brothers did. So they'll be working on that for the foreseeable. I think that's meant to be due out in 2025. But we know that there's a sequel coming for that game that's meant to tie in with the new TV show that they're doing. So will they continue to get Rocksteady to at least help on wizardy stuff? I don't know. But those are some things that I can see maybe happening.
Do you remember when we read the statement from Ubisoft and they were like, we're learning from this and we're going to change and progress and everything's a learning experience. I don't think that they will learn from this. No. I think we're going to see more attempts at live service. Depending on what happens with Ubisoft, obviously right now their future is up in the air a little bit in terms of who's going to maybe help them get out of this hole that they're in. But I don't think that's because of XDefiant. That's been coming for a little while now. But I don't see someone like Ubisoft learning from this. I think that, unfortunately, as we've said many times when it comes to talking about live service games, everyone is hoping the next thing they do will be the next big thing, because if they can get it, they're going to make so much money. Yeah. It's kind of like throw everything at the wall, see what sticks, and hope something sticks is essentially what's happening. Because like we've said before, if they can get something to work and something that works as well as things like Fortnite or Overwatch, they've got a never-ending moneymaker, a billion-dollar piece of merchandise opportunities kind of situation. So we've got loads of maybes happening just in case one does work. So with things with people like Ubisoft, I do think that maybe we'll see them try it a few more times before they give up. Same with Sony. I think we'll see them give it another go after Concord. And I just, it's going to be very much a point for the next few years, I think, of another one of these didn't work again, but the next one will, I promise. So I think we'll see more of this kind of situation. In terms of Rocksteady, I think Rocksteady are in a much more precarious situation when it comes to doing another live service game. We kind of knew they didn't really want to do Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League in the way that they did it. We kind of had rumors come out regarding the whole thing that actually it was Warner Bros. Telling them to do what they did and telling them to make it how they made it. So maybe if they are given the ability to do whatever they want with their next game, we'll see them go back to their roots and do something like the Arkham games. I would have loved to see a Suicide Squad game done by Rocksteady in the way that Rocksteady would probably have wanted to do it, which was probably not the live service cluster flip that we saw from them. But yeah, I don't think Rocksteady, like you said, they're currently working on stuff. We might see layoffs coming from them in terms of them being shrunk, but I'm hopeful that if they can keep proving themselves useful to Warner Brothers, maybe they'll be allowed to live for long enough to make the next game that they want to make. Because there's so much money to be made in these single player, already established IPs. So it seems a shame to just kind of abandon them forever.
Well, because they were once king of the superhero game. You know, they made a trilogy of games that was just so good. And now Insomniac is, I'm not really sure who else there is if you think about it. But yeah, Insomniac, doing great things with Spider-Man, and Wolverine, I have to assume, is going to be quite good. So they've kind of taken that crown, and it would be good actually to have a bit of competition between a Marvel and a DC superhero universe, kind of, seeing more and more good stuff coming from both.
Obviously, we've got the new Arkham VR game, which was not made by Rocksteady, but has had really good reviews coming in for it. So maybe we will see another trip back to Arkham from Rocksteady. But if they're stuck kind of just whiling away the days doing whatever Warner Bros. Want them to, we might not hear from them for a little while now.
Yeah, I agree with what you both said. I mean, at the very least, with Rocksteady working on that director's version of the Hogwarts game, it's definitely a step down, and it feels like a bit of maybe a humbling moment, perhaps, for a studio that previously flew so high and was held in such high regard. But if this is a way to avoid job losses, that I imagine people would rather be working on this than be faced with the boot. There are rumors about a new Batman game. Your Schreiers and so on are saying, they aren't saying outright it's a Batman game, but they have heavily hinted at it, basically saying, you won't be surprised by what they're working on at the moment. That is several years away. But even then, when we reach that point, it's the flipping BioWare Ship of Theseus thing all over again, where we're talking about Rocksteady from 7 years ago when we're talking about the release of Arkham Knight and finishing that trilogy. They hired so many new people to make a game in a new genre that they have never made before. What does that team look like now? Is it, you've had the 2 leaders leave already. So what does an Arkham game from Rocksteady in 2028 even look like at this point? I don't know.
Yeah.
I know what I would like from them, which is another Batman game and another Arkham game. But again, like what's that Rocksteady even going to make? I have no idea. Regardless, though, Ubisoft is sort of on fire, as we know. We heard more rumblings in the past week or so that the Guillemot family are potentially looking to sell now.
But maintain control.
But they want to maintain control. However, depending on who buys the other half, there's potentially a lot of pressure that could be exerted for them to continue to chase trends. They've done NFTs, it blew up in their face. They've done live service, it blew up in their face. I think everyone's screaming at them to not do that anymore. However, they have this huge bank of IP that they could pull from if they wanted to. You've got your Splinter Cells, you've got your Far Cries. There's also what have I written down here? I've completely forgotten. Ghost Recon open world game, that kind of stuff. They're not really my kind of games, but The Division as well. Historically, those have performed financially very well for Ubisoft, and they probably need to start doubling down on that kind of stuff. So their future's quite uncertain as well. I think there's a lot riding on Assassin's Creed Shadows. That needs to do well, and hopefully this delay puts it in a place that's more favorable than it would have been if we'd have had it by now. But it's difficult to say for sure. The studios that made XDefiant, as you said, they're gone. They don't exist anymore. Ubisoft as a whole is in a tricky place. Rocksteady in a tricky place as well. For the time being, at least, it sounds like they all have work and they might be getting started on something that people are more interested in. So it's difficult to say, but as you guys pointed out, Ubisoft, 100%, especially if they get new management in and the Guillemot give up their controlling share. The Guillemot family, sorry, they will 100% just start pursuing the thing that they think will make them the most money straight away and not the safe and obvious bet, which is what we've seen so many people do. And I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon. It's frustrating to watch.
I mean, again, to double down on what we said in the intro, we have not yet seen the Game Awards, and maybe there's been some announcement of an Ubisoft live service game, or possibly even a Rocksteady thing, or at least a Warner Brothers thing. So, we'll have to see. But at the moment, those are our thoughts.
Yes. It's time to...
It's a new segment. It's a Christmas segment.
Oh.
I thought we could do...
are we going to do it next week as well?
Maybe.
Because it's...
For Christmas,
maybe. Because we're even closer for Christmas.
Yeah.
So
it's festive.
Okay.
It's called What We Playin.
Okay.
It's What We Play in time. Time to talk about the games, what we have been playing. Peter Austin, what have you been playing, please?
I was away for a week, and then I was in bed for 3 days, and then I've not been feeling very good even when I've been out of bed. I think in the past, since whenever I last did a podcast, I think I have played a bit of Spyro 1 to learn how to launch myself up walls that I shouldn't be able to launch myself up, and glide upwards instead of downwards on sloped surfaces and things like that. So I've done a bit of that, but I don't think I've played anything since I last did a podcast apart from practice for my charity stream. And Ashton, what have you been playing?
Okay, cool. I've been playing more Ghost of Tsushima. I am really enjoying it. I've played some of the Legends mode where you can play in co-op with MB, and we did a few of those, which was fun. And I haven't yet played it, but I've officially installed it to play tomorrow once we return back from the fugue state that is doing the big discussion, then we go home. Is Infinity Nikki.
Yes.
I have not had the time because I was away all weekend, and it came out on Thursday last week, and I was away Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So I was like, right, this week's the week to do it. I've been so busy that I've not had any time. So tomorrow is dedicated to playing Infinity Nikki. I have set aside some time over the weekend to spend in it to see if I get my fill of fun from it, which I'm sure I will, because everyone who I've seen talk about playing it has absolutely loved it. So I'm hopeful that I will also love it. But yeah, mainly just Ghost of Tsushima at the moment. I did play something the other day on MB's Steam Deck, but I can't remember what it was called. I think it was called Scrappy Jungle or maybe Scrappy Garden. It was just some really small little indie game. It was someone's first project, but it was working on the Steam Deck, and I was bored because I was stuck in my parents' house for a few hours, so I was bored. But yeah, that's all I've played.
Speaking of the Steam Deck, I have thought technically since I last did a podcast, I did go. That was when we went round to your house, and you will have already talked about that on the podcast.
Oh right,
I'm sure.
God, yeah, that would have been
But we played some Jackbox, and we played some Garfield Kart.
Yeah.
So
Furious Racing.
It's not been a bad couple of weeks because I did at least get to play some Garfield Kart. So
it's sick, isn't it? It's brilliant. What a
That's
video
probably
game.
why you got so unwell.
Yeah, it could well.
It was really bad.
Lasagna.
Yeah. That's it. That's all I played. All you played?
I played a few things actually, but in sort of sporadic, very small doses, because not only was I also away and also busy, but I said this to you yesterday. All I'm doing at the moment is I'm getting home. It's dark. I feel awful. I have a shower, have tea, and then slump on the sofa, and I'm like, I want to go to bed, and it's 8:30. I just have no energy at the moment, or time. It's either time or energy. And I have the time, got no energy.
I've still not played the Plucky Squire, and I'm like, I should, and I want to, but that's how I feel right now.
So I've gone back to Dragon Age, right? The princely sum of 20 minutes is what I've played of Dragon Age since last time. I just finished a quest and gone back to the hub area when I last played. So I walked around the hub area, talked to a couple of people, flirted with someone, went through, killed 2 enemies in a new area, and then I stopped, and that was it. So I've done practically nothing more in that game, but I really want to get back to it. There is a new zombies map in Call of Duty Black Ops 6, and it's really good. It's called Citadel de Mort or something. I'm not sure. It's a big castle, and it's got it's a bit Resident Evil Village, actually. Castle, you got flipping...
Sexy lady.
No, there's no sexy ladies, actually. Unfortunately, there's no giant women. But there is a basement, and there's loads of laboratory stuff, and there's a little village at the foot of the hill. There's a cannon you can shoot yourself out of to get back to the bottom of the hill.
Cool.
All the usual stuff. And there's an Easter egg that most people have worked out how to do, and I also worked out how to do, where you get a sword, and then you can complete a special challenge depending on which sword you pick up. There are 4 swords. And then it just becomes it kills zombies instantly.
Oh, wow.
And you can just stand there and hold R2 and just wave this sword around and just helicopter blade these zombies away and kill everything.
Nice.
And it makes the game really a lot easier, but also it's super fun because it charges up after every 20 kills. And one of them I've had just does a flurry of blades around you, and anyone who walks into it dies. Another one fires 3 meteors from the end of the blade and just explodes and kills everything on screen. It's genuinely, it's not a very challenging map depending on how you play it, but it is really fun. And I'm very impressed with it, and I'd like to play some more of it. But again, the past 2 nights I've gone home and just gone, like a balloon letting out a stream of air. I have played the first 2 hours of Indiana Jones. That grape's purple, and it's great. Really like it so far. Thank you to Bethesda for giving us an early code for that. I did stream it, so you can check it out on our VODs channel. Haven't had the time to play anymore, but it's really good, and I'm looking forward to getting stuck back into it. Troy Baker, good impression.
I've heard that he's doing a really good impression.
He sounds so uninterested in everything that's going on, which is, I suppose, what
very
Indiana
Indiana
Jones.
to be fair.
Oh, I suppose I'll go over here. That's sort of.
I saw someone
Yeah, yeah.
muttering. I
The
didn't even click on
grumbles.
the clip, but they'd put, "Wow, Troy Baker even exhales like Harrison Ford," and I assume it was just a clip of him going, and it just sounded exactly like him. Apparently,
It's really good. As
didn't
someone
wanna
who's
click
not
it,
an
though.
Indiana Jones fan, by which I mean I'm just completely ambivalent to it. I have no strong feelings. It's really good, and I do
I
want to
can't
play
wait. I'm
more.
waiting for the PlayStation version, but I'm looking forward to it.
Really
I
good.
need to give it a play before Game of the Year.
I
I've got. So I feel like I have so much to do before, like, we do our Game of the Year podcast at the beginning of January. Because right now I feel like I've not filled up my top 5, and I need to go back and play some of the other stuff. That's
New
come out
Astro
this year.
level as well dropped today.
Yeah,
time
Christmas
of recording.
one.
It's too late for me. My interest in Astro ended as soon as I finished the game.
Oh,
If they
really?
were regular levels, I'd play them. I'm not interested in speedrun.
It's not a speedrun level.
I don't
Oh,
think
it's not?
this
It's a
one
Christmas
isn't. No,
level.
it's got.
So I've got to download 50 gigabytes of Astro Bar again. For God's sake.
You don't have to, but
No,
we're just.
but I do though.
if it
don't
was
I?
installed-
It's got new
then
characters
maybe
in it
you
and
could-
stuff. New
Okay.
bots to find.
Sounds-
See, I
bots.
love that, but I like this is my issue increasingly with DLC is it's like the ship's it's gone.
Yeah.
People
It's
were-
set sail off into the distance.
Well,
I've got other
yeah.
things I'm playing now.
People were saying that they'd spotted stuff in the credits on one of the latest updates where they'd thanked several new games that haven't actually had bots featured yet. So they're like, "Oh,
Concord.
who's going to be?" Yeah,
We've got the Concord bot yet.
Thank you to Concord.
Has anyone watched the Secret Level?
Is it
TV
out
show
yet?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh no, I haven't.
No, I didn't
but-
know it was out,
I
and
think
I've not
maybe
heard
out this
anything
week.
about it. Oh
I
my
think I
God.
saw a thing today that was like reviewing the Secret Level episodes. Apparently, the Sony one is a bit weird.
That's got all of them in there, right?
Yeah, it's just
Oh,
kind of
really?
like a
Like a
cameo
multiverse
fest.
thing.
Is it a bit like those adverts they used to do and probably still do, where it's just a normal man walking down the street and then Kratos goes past?
Hands him
and
an
it's like,
axe.
oh my God! Look, all of my gaming
Maybe.
heroes are in
Yeah,
one
maybe.
place.
Yeah.
And it's just a big advert.
But apparently, some of the other ones are really good. But
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, cool. Well, I really want to see that, but I didn't know when it was out. The Pokemon trading card game on my phone.
Got a packet to open?
I actually haven't. I opened it this morning. Sorry.
Ben!
I know. I've been opening them on the podcast.
Did you get anything good?
No.
Well, you
I've
would
got
have
a
if
lot
you've
of the
opened it on a
cards
podcast.
now.
Oh.
So
Sparklies.
no sparklies. No sparklies, unfortunately. But that's been something of an obsession recently. So much so that, my God, it might end up on my bloody list at this point. Because
Oh
it's
my
just like, I
God.
just keep opening it idly and going, I'm going to battle someone on the internet. And then
Does
I
it count as a game? I
well,
mean,
that's
it's a
the
game.
difference. That's
isn't
it.
it?
It's
But-
not only is it a mobile game, but also it's a card game. Double.
But
So
if a DLC can win Game of the Year, which it may or may not have done,
yeah,
then
then a trading card game can surely win my game of the year.
yeah.
I've been playing a lot of it, and I'm really enjoying just having it going in the background. Still haven't hit that wall yet where I inevitably will think this is stupid and a waste of time, and I haven't given them any money still, so
Good.
that's good. I went to Budapest when I went away. There was a barcade,
Right.
and I played a couple of games in the barcade. One of them was, hang on, let me find it. It was called Dinosaur Era.
Okay.
Cool.
And it's an on-rail shooter where you have a literal water gun on the arcade unit,
Cool.
and there's a screen in front of the screen, and you shoot the water at the dinosaurs to kill them? Question
Right.
mark.
Clean them.
Clean them.
Yeah.
And then they lie down because they're so clean
Yeah.
afterwards. But I was very drunk and I didn't understand that the mechanic was actually, rather than you have so many hits and then you've run out of lives, it was you have so much water. So I was just spraying the water, having a great time. And then I ran out of water almost immediately because I was always spraying water. And then it said, well, you've got to put more tokens in now. I was like, absolutely not. I'm going to go and play Dark Escape 4D, which looked like House of the Dead, but actually was it was a zombie game, but like it punches you in the back when a zombie hits you.
Oh,
There's like
wow.
little air pads behind you. It just goes, ugh! And there's a heartbeat sensor as well on the gun. So I was playing with my girlfriend, and she doesn't like zombies. So it, like, when a zombie would go, ah, and like jump up and scare you, it would show your heartbeat, and hers was like off the scale. And I was like, I wish someone would stop punching me in the back. And it didn't last very long in that because, it just wants to eat all your money.
Yeah.
And that's what I played. That's what I played.
Oh,
Sounds good.
well, now it's time for question 2, which comes from Chris McVeigh. Hi, Bap.
Hello.
GTA 6 is reportedly holding the rest of the industry in limbo at the moment, as publishers are waiting for Rockstar to give some more information about its release date before making any commitments to 2025 for their own games. I get why this is happening. Any game releasing around the new GTA is going to be completely lost in the impact it's all but certain to have. But I'm not sure I like the idea of one game having that much sway, even if it is GTA. Should one game and one company have enough power that they could conceivably have either the entire full 2025 window to themselves or announce a delay and get everyone else rushing to get their games out before it?
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
I mean, I obviously feel bad for anyone any developer or publisher who's in that situation where they're like, oh, you know, we're stuck now. What do? We need to wait and hear. Like, that's not a great situation to be in. But I kind of think, like, it's not really Rockstar's fault or Rockstar's problem. The fact is, the game is popular, Grand Theft Auto, and publishers, if they choose to be like, oh, well, what we'll do is we'll avoid releasing around the same time, which, you know, I think is a sensible thing to do if that's your business strategy, then you'll have to just wait. That's just, if that's what you're choosing to do, you have to just wait until they announce it. I don't think Rockstar are intentionally like holding back specifically to spite other publishers or anything like that. I'm not saying that you're suggesting that, Chris, but
why would Chris suggest that?
Chris, why are you that's libelous. I'm going to sue you for that. But the facts are Rockstar have got a hugely successful video game franchise. People are waiting to avoid its release date and they want to know what it is, but it's not Rockstar's fault. They've worked hard on that series over the decades, and they're in that situation now. They'll announce it when they've decided when they're going to release it, and that's kind of just the way things are. It's not ideal for those other studios, but it's a huge shrug from me. It's a shame, but that's what's happening.
Peter Austin, headline. Peter Austin doesn't care. Work it out, devs, says Peter Austin, shrugging.
Yeah, sorry.
I mean, this isn't the first time it's happened, and it won't be the last. We see it happen all the time with games people think are going to be good or going to be big, and we see games either scrambling out of the month that a game is due to be released, whether that's before they like suddenly have to come out a month earlier or wait a month till it comes out. So it's not the first time it's happened. I mean, we'll see it again, I'm sure, with something else probably. I do think it is a bit of a shame, because if you're not interested in GTA, but you are interested in, I don't know, something else that's due to come out in 2025, and you aren't going to find out until one happens, then it is obviously a shame. I don't love that happens, but I understand completely why it happens, because, you know, you want your game to get the the conversation and popularity it deserves. And if you're coming out next to what is going to be an absolute giant in GTA 6, whether GTA 6 is good or bad, everyone's going to be talking about it. You need to make sure that your game is getting the respect it deserves. So you're going to give it its best chance and put it somewhere else. I'm quite glad it's kind of coming out towards the end of the year at least. So we might get games coming out ahead of time. If after tonight, you will know before we do at this point, there's a GTA like release date, and it's October, I don't know, the 3rd, 2025.
Watch it be October
Imagine
the 3rd
if it's October the 3rd.
God.
That would be crazy.
They'll think that we're actually recording this after.
Yeah.
Like, oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah. October the 3rd, 2025, GTA 6 comes out, and then suddenly we see a lot more games announcing that they're also coming out ahead of that. We see things happening in September and August. We see more things coming out November and December, and we see a big gap in October. It's very likely to happen. It's happened before. So we'll have to see. I also like when people start to think like, oh, maybe the game isn't actually going to be as big as we think it is, and then start putting their games back or like announcing that we're going to be coming out more earlier than we thought, and now it's right next to Assassin's Creed Shadows because people aren't actually that bothered about it. So
You know, weirdly, which industry doesn't seem to do this when they definitely should? The movie industry, where they will just say, oh yeah, we know that the next Avengers is coming out on this date or in this week. We're also going to release our like mid to quite interesting movie in the same week, and then wonder why it's not done very well.
DC's Blue Beetle is going up against Avengers this weekend, where it will be murdered.
Yeah. Why do that? Take a leaf out of the game industry's book. Movies.
Yeah, movies.
Or maybe we should start to see more people do what like Barbie and Oppenheimer did, and we see like
Doom and Animal
Assassin's
Crossing.
Creed, Shadows is coming out, but also on the same day here's like your Infinity Nikki type.
Yeah, what was it? Saw and something else. Jigsaw.
The Peppa Pig movie or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And this time it was Barbie and
Oppenheimer.
Wicked and Gladiator 2.
Oh, yeah.
But Gladiator 2 stood no chance against Wicked. Let's be real.
I mean, did that catch fire?
Not really.
The combination. Barbenheimer definitely did.
Yeah.
I saw the memes about that. I completely agree with Peter.
I'm also by the way. Don't care.
No,
but
I know.
just,
but you're more empathetic than he is. And
Yeah.
he was just
I
like,
was
screw
really
you
cruel.
guys.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
No, I do. I feel for people like developers and publishers stuck in this situation because you are in limbo. You have no choice. Rockstar, as you said, they're not doing anything underhanded. They're not blackmailing people. It's like GTA is just a phenomenon. There's nothing like it. It's from an unbelievably popular franchise, and realistically, could well be the biggest video game launch of all time when it happens.
Mm-hmm.
This is not their fault that this is an earned success that they have. And unfortunately, it just means that people don't want to go up against it, which is understandable. If you do, you're a fool. Why would you do that? It's just, I don't think Rockstar should have to rush to pick a date when they're not ready to pick one, just so that competitors will find a window to release their game. And even if they weren't trying to, even if they were trying to like punch down against other developers and stuff, it would only hurt them to wait longer and longer to announce a release date, surely. It's a crap situation for people who aren't Rockstar, but it's not their fault.
We've got a
It's not
quarter
their
already
fault.
as well. It's not like it's a complete blind, like any time in 2025. But at least people know right now, okay, until we know we have further information, we'll avoid fall, as they call it in the US of A.
Yeah.
So our game that we were hoping to put out sometime in autumn, maybe let's wait till December, or let's squeeze it out in kind of August, or yeah.
Yeah, I think we'll get a flurry of people, as you said, Ashton, just suddenly going, we've changed our release date. It's going to be so. I mean, we were talking yesterday about how for this week, our inboxes have just been filled with press releases about games that realistically are not going to be at the Game Awards because they probably want to get some headlines and some publicity before everything else is dominated by the Game Awards at the end of the week. Unfortunately, it's just how it goes sometimes.
Yeah.
People work to different schedules, and if it lines up with something that's much bigger, then you need to take a calculated risk and either announce your date and it may be the same, or wait. And it sucks.
Yeah.
To be honest, we actually haven't got that many release dates for 2025 at this point. There's lots of games that are due to come out next year, but we haven't actually got a confirmed month or release date for a lot of them. If we're looking at February and March, there is, quite a few games, but we're still waiting on so many games from 2025.
Yeah.
So right now it's maybe not just Rockstar, everyone is waiting to post when they are coming out next year.
We're going to get a lot of release dates once we've got the GTA one.
I think so, yeah.
There we are. Let us know what you think below. Oh, can you smell that? Bloody hell.
Yeah, it does smell a bit weird.
I've sort of lost my sense of smell, but I don't know. It might be a bit
I'd say
peculiar.
it's a bit stinky peculiar, actually.
Oh, okay.
Weird news?
Could be weird news.
It's stinky peculiar. It's weird news. Weird news time, everyone. Remember, if you want to submit some weird news to us, you can do so under the relevant social media post that goes out on a Wednesday. However, if you'd like to guarantee a shout out at this point in the podcast, you need to go to patreon.com/Team TripleJumps and support us at the appropriate tier to become a podcast producer, just like
Chip Thompson's Thumbs.
Gabrielle Philipping.
GY Goliath,
Nexus Polaris.
Nicole Hansen.
Blake Thomas,
Janet Wicks.
David Cam.
Eric Hugh,
Great Giggity.
Michael Pendlebury.
Hugh Jas.
And Big Money Bobby Vegas.
Thank you so much, podcast producers.
Thank you, podcast producers.
Thank you.
Peter, have you got some stinky peculiar news?
I've got some stinky, peculiar, sexy news
Oh!
submitted by Peter Austin.
It's getting hot in here.
So take off perhaps one layer because we're on the internet. Okay, that's good. He's done it.
I'm going to put it back on.
Okay. This is according to VGTimes.com, and the headline is chopped off, but I believe it is Pornhub reveals the most... Oh, it's down there. I was reading it up there. Pornhub reveals the most popular video game characters of 2024.
Hooray!
It's that time of year again.
It's time.
Pornhub... do we have a writer? Maybe at the bottom. Pornhub has published its annual year-end recap for 2024, which highlights trends in popular actresses, genres, and searches, including those among gamers. Once again, Chun-Li topped the list as the most searched-for heroine, retaining her crown from last year. Lara Croft and Tifa took second and third places, with the latter moving up from fourth place in 2023.
Wow.
As for specific games, Fortnite held its position as the third most popular title for the fourth consecutive year. Genshin Impact and the Pokemon series secured second and third places respectively. Notably, searches related to Fallout surged by 10 spots compared to last year, while Atomic Heart dropped 8 places. The report also highlighted top movie-related searches. Harley Quinn, along with videos themed around Star Wars, Game of Thrones, and Avatar, led the pack. And in addition to this, we've got a little bit of extra info from pushsquare.com. This was written by Kyle Adam. Kyle Adam.
I think it's Kyle. I think he's Australian and he's called Kyle.
Right.
I hope that helps.
Thank you. He's Australian. That explains Kyle Adam.
Kyle.
They say that as part of the wrap-up, the headline is, in fact, PS5 and PS4 users overrepresented in 2024 Pornhub console traffic share.
Well done, lads.
Overwhelmingly, PS4, PS5, and yes, some tiny fraction of PS Vita users are responsible for driving the majority of console traffic to adult website Pornhub. All this data has resulted in a wonderful graph that gets funnier when you look at each element in isolation and without context, leaving us with so many questions. And there's basically a pie chart with traffic by game console, and it is a huge section of PlayStation logo stuff.
It's all PlayStation.
And a tiny segment at the top, like less than 10 degrees of the pie, has the Xbox logo on it. 4.9% of the circle.
And it's like 0.1% is 3DSs and PS Vitas.
Oh yeah, 3DS and PS Vita.
They're in there.
Anyway, that's it. Those are the two articles.
Once again, very impressed.
Wasn't it?
And I said this in the group chat when we were talking about this earlier this week. And like the horniness levels displayed by PlayStation 5 owners, that people have managed to find a reliable way to access the web browser for porn when there is no easily accessible web browser on that console.
Didn't we figure, like, it came out that the way to do it was to open up a game that would let you access a website via an in-game pop-up, and then on that website
edit the address bar.
Yeah, and edit the address.
But the amount of effort to that workaround
you
is
must
so
have a
much.
phone.
You've got a phone in your pocket.
And imagine being that desperate that you're like, I'm going to do it on my PS5 with, I'm going to use an analog stick as a mouse cursor.
Being desperate enough that you want to, have some
Put the
work
time
in, but not desperate enough to. I've got like 5-10 minutes to set this up. You know, so happy is like a sweet spot you have to be in, I think.
Yeah. Right. Well, I have some news.
Yes.
It was submitted by @SnowyBoyYannio on Twitter, and it's not horny.
Oh
man.
So there. Comes from Kotaku by Kenneth Shepard. Marvel rival fans are ready to curb stomp Jeff the Land Shark.
Oh.
The cutest hero on the roster has players feeling like Thanos was right. This is Jeff the Land Shark, just in case you haven't seen him.
I have seen him.
He's lovely.
He's
going
lovely.
through 2 portals, like on Portal.
Yeah.
He's
Doctor Strange
through.
has
Can you play as him?
No, he's one of the playable characters.
Even though he's tiny.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I'll tell you about it.
Okay.
So yeah, the Marvel Rivals launched last week and has fans flocking to the game in droves. They're figuring out who their favorite and least favorite characters are in the hero shooter roster. Right now, the game feels like it's in the pre-patch state of just being a real chaotic shooter and hasn't yet been sanded down by months of balance patches. Currently, few characters are as chaotic as Jeff the Land Shark, the strategist hero who is, at a glance, just a silly little guy.
No.
However, as Marvel Rival players have learned, this happy dude is actually one of the biggest menaces in the game, and God, I hope NetEase keeps him like this forever. Jeff is a strategist, the Marvel Rivals equivalent of a support hero. Most of the time he sprays water from his mouth to patch up teammates and leaves healing-infused bubbles around the battlefield for players to walk through and recover some of their HP. However, it's his ultimate that has become the bane of most players' existence. It's Jeff, which is the name of the ultimate, creates a sizable whirlpool on the battlefield, which Jeff circles before devouring any player inside the area of effect. From here, he can do one of a few things. He can chew on them as he swims around, doing small damage over time. He can spit them out, displacing them. Or he can do what most people have learned to do and send them off the side of the map.
Oh.
At first, my experience with Hungry Jeff was that players would swallow several opponents and spit them off the map and into a chasm. As a Star-Lord main, this was usually not a big deal as I could fly right back up to safety. However, as more players have used this strategy, Jeff players have wised up and realised that they'll get more value diving off the side of the map themselves while their foes are still trapped within their mouths. So they're taking
you with me.
Yeah. It has become such a foolproof strategy that seemingly every Jeff player is utilising it, and everyone else wants the land shark's blood. While that's the most common strategy now, sometimes there isn't a hole nearby, and some players are using Jeff's ultimate as a way to throw a team off an objective or to set up other more devastating attacks, like grouping together several foes to toss them to Scarlet Witch's explosive ultimate. Whatever strategy Jeff players are using, the character's destructive power, contrasted with his cute, unassuming demeanour, has made him the centre of so many jokes in the game's community just days after launch. People are making memes about beating up the land shark. There's videos of Hulk doing the kind of
thing, but with
low-key thing with Jeff, and someone being like, I feel bad about this, but then it's just Hulk smashing him into the ground. Someone managed to get like the models and had made a gif of Hulk gradually coming towards Jeff, whose mouth is open on the curb, and then just before it gets to his head, it cuts back to the beginning. Okay. Jeff, the land shark, is the most OP character in Marvel Rivals, and people love and hate him. So
I did see a funny clip of what appeared to be Jeff with loads of people in his mouth, spitting them all off the edge, and then one of the players,
Wolverine.
The Wolverine. So Wolverine is the only one who makes it, but he like dives claws first, and it's slowed down, and it looks like an actual thing from a comic book movie. He's so furious.
He gets spat out, and then
he's
he's
diving towards the camera with his claws out.
It's really good.
Schnicked. It was really good.
That game is like not balanced even a little bit, and some of the characters
are just part of its. Certainly, that seems to be part of its charm at the moment because
people like it.
It's not balanced to the extent where it's like new players and casual players can't enjoy it, because it being Marvel is going to attract a big audience, and I feel like there's a balance. Clearly, there's a balance to be struck where it's not completely broken. However, they have to be careful not to fine tune it so much that casual players don't stand a chance.
Yeah.
You know?
But it's going to be interesting to see how well this one goes, given that we've just talked about live service games.
Yes.
I mean, it seems to be doing well off at the get-go. So.
The IP alone, it stands a much better chance. And it's free,
Concord. Said that before,
so
haven't we, that if you're going to do this, the best way to do it is probably to pick something that already has a huge captive audience. Rather 100%. Than here's Concord. These characters who you will love them.
Don't you think they're funny?
Yeah.
So good. I've got some weird news from Samuel Benson on Facebook, top fan relation. And this is from Kyle Adam on
Ben's son.
Push.
He is a relation.
Ben's son, yes. This is from Kyle Adam on Push Square. Random. Grizzled Red Dead Redemption voice actor has an OnlyFans account.
Ooh.
Few character archetypes are as overtly masculine as the grizzled American cowboy, and few cowboys are as iconic as the legendary John Marston of Red Dead Redemption fame. All of that is just a pretense to say that John Marston actor Rob Whitehoff has started an OnlyFans account not to make adult content, but to chronicle his journey to get hugely jacked. Spotted by Comic Book, Whitehoff made the eyebrow-raising announcement on Instagram, and we have to admit the old cowpoke does make a fairly convincing pitch. This page is not like, I'm not going to do a John Marston impression, because does anybody want to do one?
I want you to do one.
Boy.
Dude, no, that's a different one, isn't it?
Well, I mean, it is.
That's the other guy.
That's God of Son, or War of Zeus. But he says boy to horses, doesn't he?
Does he?
John Marston.
Is that not the?
Oh, you're a good boy.
No, that's Red Dead Redemption 2. That's the other fella.
Well, they all say good boy to horses, surely.
I don't know.
All horses are good boys.
No, I mean, I know.
except the
I'm not
girl
saying
ones.
Yeah.
they're not.
But
Yeah,
we
they're-
have seen their anatomically correct testicles.
Yeah,
So a lot of
we
them
know
are
they're
boys.
boys.
We know, okay. This page, I'm not going to do it. This page is not like other OnlyFans pages. If you follow, you're going to watch an old guy work out. That's all it is. My plan is to get ripped, though. You can do it with me if you want. Whiteoff freely admits that I am not certified or even trained in any kind of physical training, nor am I an educated or certified dietitian. If you decide to do what I do and eat what I eat, that's up to you. With 2 posts so far, we have signed up for an account so you don't have to. The first asks fans if they are ready for the fitness journey to come. We are. And the second asks Whiteoff's particularly water... Hang on. And the second details Whiteoff's particular water drinking philosophy, which will likely be useful in our community. Will you join Whiteoff on his OnlyFans adventure to get ripped John Marston style?
Have you got an OnlyFans? Let us know down below.
Sound off in the comments below. So there you
How
go.
weird. Why did he feel the need to make an OnlyFans for
I
that?
don't know.
There's lots of different platforms where he could
It's
have
probably a less
shared his
toxic
journey.
social media platform
I
at this point
guess.
than a lot of the ones that exist. I'm not
Yeah,
sure,
but, you know, I'm sure he's going to get inundated with messages being like,
thirsty.
will you please do me a custom video where,
Oh,
you,
almost certainly.
Yeah,
where you cover yourself in water?
with your jeans on.
Yeah.
So you can sign up to Rob Whiteoff's
Once you get slammed in
OnlyFans
your jeans.
right now. You're pulling the curtain back a little bit there, guys.
A little bit.
That's the end of Weird News. It's time to time travel.
Yes.
And are you ready for us to get 10 times as weird? It's big discussion time.
Whoa!
It's big discussion time for the big video game discussion that this week comes courtesy of Lockie Morris, who said, "Good day, Bap. With another year of Jeff's
day.
advertising extravaganza finished and some awards handed out as well, how did you enjoy the show? And are you surprised about the winners, losers, upcoming games, or games that weren't announced, or any other bat flip crazy things that may or may not have happened? Much love, Lockie."
Thanks, Lockie.
Thanks,
Thank you very much, Lockie. How you guys feeling?
All right.
Oof.
Oof.
Oh, no.
I'm tired.
You drank your way through the Game Awards. though.
Honestly, I do feel like that helped because it finished and I was like, I can't believe it's done. It went so quick. But
It did feel easier this year than last year.
I think it was the booze.
I do think it felt like it was going quicker. Like every time I did look at the clock, I was like, oh, okay, that's all right.
Yeah.
That's reassuring. I was still very tired, but it did seem to go quite quickly.
Getting up this morning was rough.
So how many hours sleep were we on? Like 4-ish hours sleep?
Yeah, I
think,
got
or
home
something
at
like
5:30 and
Yeah.
I had to leave the house at 10:30. So yeah, about 4.5 hours.
that. Yeah, I had to leave.
Ish.
Yeah, I've had about
5 past
4.5, 5.
Yeah, so we're all in top form. We'll talk about our general thoughts about the Game Awards at the end, but as usual, we're going to run through the sort of every announcement or
It's
big ones or
well, I've written down every announcement,
Mm-hmm.
so it's whether you want to go through them one by one or you want to.
I think we should go through
pick
them one
some
by one,
faves.
but
We
we
can do
can
that.
we can editorialize and skip over things that if we genuinely can't remember what they are. Because
Yeah.
as always, there were loads of things.
Yeah.
It was about 3.5 hours long.
It was with including the pre-show. It was 3.5 hours long, which is actually shorter than normal. Normally,
that's a
the
mercy.
main show itself is 3.5 hours
Yeah.
long. So
Yeah.
we were gifted half an hour off from Jeff today.
Thank you, Jeff.
Still a lot of filler, though. You know, a lot of Muppets talking and
Oh yeah, the Muppets were there straight
you know,
away.
music, which is obviously always performed very
Snoop
well
Dogg
by the
did a
orchestra.
song.
But, you know, and there was also actual performances by pop culture music singers,
Snoop
as they're
Doggy
known.
Dogg.
That's what they call
Pop
them.
culture music singers.
You can go see our live reactions. Should be on the VODs channel now, and watch it along with us as we lose our minds.
Yeah.
It was good fun. I do look forward to doing it, even though it takes a real
Yeah.
toll on
Me too.
on our health.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Peter, would you like to start us off with the pre-show?
Indeed. Well, we started watching the pre-show, and the first thing we saw was that Ninja Gaiden is returning from the maker of Blasphemous in summer 2025. That's going to be a running theme, by the way, getting just a year, possibly a season or quarter,
Yeah.
if you're lucky.
Hope you like Windows.
I put a lot of brackets 2025 in this
Yeah.
list. Then we got another first look at a game that's like Unpacking, but you're packing. It's the prequel to Unpacking. Packing. No, it's not.
Sticking it all in your car.
Packing.
It's called One Move Away, and it's coming to PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox next year. Looks great.
It did look really nice.
I'm excited.
it did look lovely.
I thought it was a VR game. It's not.
I bet they'll add VR.
Yeah.
It genuinely did look like a VR game there with the hands moving around. Dave the Diver is getting some DLC called In the Jungle, which is coming late 2025.
Yeah.
Vague.
Hey, Ben, what about Slay the Spire 2 getting a new gameplay trailer? And
What
it's
about that?
Early
Well, you
access
skipped over it.
2025.
Well, I know. We did literally just say that we could skip over things we didn't.
Oh, I
really
thought
I
you said
thought you were
editorial.
just
I thought you
like
meant mention it and then go.
and then
No, I was just
moving
skipping.
on.
Hey, Slay the Spire 2 got a new gameplay
Well, how do
trailer.
you know that me and Ashton didn't want to talk about
That's
Slay the
such a
Spire
good point.
2?
You know what? I remember doing the reactions and you guys went, Slay the Spire 2!
Slay the Spire 2. I love
No
Slay the
disrespect to
Spire
Slay the
1.
Spire 2. I just have nothing to say
Okay,
about
I thought
it.
you meant say it and then immediately move
No, I
on.
should have been more clear. My apologies.
Well, sure. Let's continue to
Did you know
do
that
what you said.
there's a DLC coming for Dave the Diver?
Oh, yeah, in
The
the jungle.
jungle.
In the jungle, set in some
crazy.
woods.
Sounds great.
No,
it
not
does,
Woods,
doesn't
the
it?
jungle.
Same thing, innit?
No.
No.
Ashton, you go next.
There's a new stealth action multiplayer game called Thick as Thieves. It's from Warren Spector's studio, Other Side Entertainment. It's a bit like Deceiving. You're all trying to get the goal and you want to stop the other thieves getting it. You've got various skills as your thief. And it's coming 2026.
We saw some Tales of the Shire, or some more of it, I should say, decorating inside your little hobbit home.
I don't remember seeing that. Did I go and get some tablets at that point?
may have
Possibly,
done.
yeah. Because
It was introduced by
Ashton and I were talking
YouTuber.
about that she's never seen
I think I'd gone.
Lord of the Rings. But yeah, looks
I wasn't
really
there.
looks lovely, and I'm sure it will divide what is a very not toxic fan base into two camps of people who are furious and
Yeah.
a camp of people who love it.
Indeed. Here's a weird thing. A couple of hours before the show, Pac-Man officially tweeted saying, "Look out tonight," or
Hi
something.
guys, it's Pac-Man.
And it's because jumping off of the Pac-Man episode in Secret Level, the Amazon show, is a dark fantasy Metroidvania called Shadow Labyrinth, which was sort of Pac-Man themed, but weird looking. It wasn't Pac-Man. It just happened to have a circle with a segment cut out
Pac-Man
of
was
it.
like your little mate and you're
Yeah.
playing as a person.
It's like that Space Invaders game on the PS2 where they
Yeah.
made
Yeah.
it like a shooter.
Yeah.
I know it's a shooter. You know what I mean. Is it Invasion Day or something? I can't remember.
I think it might have still been called Space Invaders, but yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
Is it me?
I don't know.
I think-
Yes.
Yes?
I'm already lost. I think so. I think it's you.
No,
Didn't I
it's
just-
no,
no, it's-
yeah, it's Ashton.
Which way would be the best way
I'm
for you to
skipping over
remember?
a few now.
Okay.
And skipping ahead to the Core Keeper devs' new game, which is called Kiora, which is a pixel sandbox game that has 8-player co-op. It's a bit like Terraria,
Looks a bit like Terraria. Yeah.
but looks cute. Looks cute.
We love our horror games where you play together in a party and try and do stuff, and it's quite silly. Midnight Murder Club definitely looks like one of those. It's a new horror comedy co-op game. There's a beta coming or happening at some point. Look like a
Yeah.
laugh. They're all going around a spooky mansion with their torches, and they all get killed in wacky ways. Some of it was genuine reaction, and some of it, which we saw way too much of, was stilted, scripted dialogue between #best friends.
Yeah.
And it was like, don't go in there, man. And it just didn't
Watch
feel
out, my friend.
just didn't feel genuine at all.
love it.
But the game looked good, and I would like to play it.
Yes.
We saw a bit of Splitgate 2 coming 2025, but then from Sci-Fu Studio, Slow Clap,
That's one way of saying it.
Seafood. From Seafood Studio, Slow Clap.
That was such a mean way to correct him. That was really horrible.
I mean, it's true.
I'm
one
so
way to say it.
I
sorry.
say it interchangeably as well. Like sometimes I'll say like Siffer. No, I won't. I've never said that one, but I change every time. From Slow Clap is a new football game called Rematch.
Yeah.
Coming 2025 again. And it was kind of third person over the shoulder. You seemingly maybe only control one player each, or maybe you can swap between them, but it looked kind of interesting.
Art style was lovely. Looked a bit like Rocket League, kind of, but Shaolin soccer. I mean, if it's anything like Sifu, having not played
Sci-fu.
it. Sorry, Sufi.
That's one way of saying it.
You probably have a lot more control
Different
over your
kicks.
over your player than you would in FIFA, for example. So yeah, it looked interesting. It complete genre change.
Yeah.
A lot of people thought it would be Seafood too when they teased being there.
Well,
but,
it's because
there we
Slow
go.
Clap tweeted, and then the Sifu account also was like, look out.
Yeah.
And so everyone was like, oh, but it was just
Here it
like,
comes.
Yeah.
Daddy's made a new game. This is what it is.
Daddy's made a new game.
I'm skipping
Awful.
now to the main show.
Yes.
Unless anyone has any objections
No.
to that.
No.
It kicked off with The Witcher 4. We got a CG trailer, which we got a lot of tonight.
Yeah.
a lot. No release date yet, but we know that it's going to star Ciri, and she was very like angry towards what was happening in this village, and it looked great for a cinematic trailer. She's got some cool powers to whack out for fighting monsters. So yeah.
I'm
see more of that.
thrilled that Ciri's the main character of this new game. We talked about it on the news video that went out on the channel yesterday at the time of release. But there was some scuttlebutt about maybe being able to create your own character.
Yeah.
And if we're not able to do that, and I understand why they aren't, because now they can make a more structured narrative. The tinsel is giving up. That's how we all feel.
Yeah.
If they want a more sort of focused narrative that actually ties in around one character who's actually pre-created by them. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Word salad here. I'm really glad it's Ciri.
Yeah.
Ciri's a cool character. I enjoyed playing as her in The Witcher 3, and I'm looking forward to seeing what a more mature Ciri story is.
Some people's home assistants are going mad right now.
Yeah, you have to say hey at
Hey
the beginning.
Siri, add The Witcher 4 to my shopping list. Is it your turn, Ben?
Oh, she was listening.
I didn't find a shopping list. Do you want to create one?
No.
Yes.
I don't like that you can...
That's weird.
Because Siri's usually pretty good at picking up on its owner's voice.
Does
So
it-
when
would
my
it not work
girlfriend
for
does
me?
it won't... Yeah. it
I
won't.
sometimes do an impression of my girlfriend at home.
Hey Siri. Hey Siri.
It's also sexist, so we have to bear that in mind. But yeah, it's kind of upsetting to know that you can now just tell my phone to do
Maybe
things.
only when I sound like this. I don't know.
Possibly. That's how I talk to my phone.
Yeah. What's next?
Me?
Well, I was commenting.
Peter goes now.
No,
No,
he did
you said-
Sifu.
you said The Witcher,
It's
didn't you?
me. Tell you what, can we get a stick and just pass it around?
Yeah.
Or a bauble or something. Just pass the...
Okay, look, hold this bauble.
I've got the
Whoever
bauble.
has the bauble
Okay.
gets to talk.
So I'm talking. Then we got a standalone game announcement, but with a question mark. This
Yeah.
That's what
is
Jeff said.
Elden Ring Night Rain from Software, and it's a specifically co-op game. Apparently, it's coming in 2025. It looks exactly the same as Elden Ring, so I have a lot of questions about what this is or how
standalone game,
it's
and-
different from Elden Ring, but it certainly seems to have way more of a focus on co-op. So hey, Elden Ring aficionados, get very excited. Again, though, I feel like, especially with Erd Tree and my lack of interest in playing that, I feel like I've completely fallen off the Elden
But
Ring
would
train.
this not be a bit more your bag because it's in co-op?
Depends how co-op it is.
And how big
And
is
what
it?
it
Is
is.
it is it like almost a 0.5 kind of game release? Is it a Miles Morales but cooperative,
Or is it like
a
a
full-on-
Legends thing in Ghost of Tsushima where it's just like a bunch of smaller
It
missions?
could be in the same. I don't know. Bearing in mind it took them this long to get Shadow of the Erd Tree out, and I know they've got a big team or maybe a couple of teams that could be working on things side by side. Curious about how this will work, and also where it's set, its structure. I recognized at least 2 enemies that are just in Elden Ring.
Right.
So I don't know how different this will be. I'm not saying that, asset flip, rubbish. I'm just curious about to what extent is this divorced from Elden Ring. I don't actually know. They bauble. There you go.
Maybe they made it a standalone game so that they can put it in for Game of the Year next year and
Yeah.
people won't get upset about it.
Classic.
Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is coming to PC
Hey.
on January the 23rd. There's a specific date
That's
for you.
soon as
It
well.
might be the soonest date of the night,
No.
I think. No?
No.
Okay.
No. That's one way to
One
say
coming
it.
out tomorrow.
Oh, is there?
Yeah. Thank you for the bauble. Catly is a new weird-looking cat MMO.
You wanted to talk about this one, huh? You didn't
Yeah.
want to skip this one. You got to talk about the AI cat.
It's meant. It's
It was
coming out
really
on
weird
Apple
looking.
Watch.
It was so strange.
It's coming out on PC.
we had no
Switch,
idea.
And Apple Watch.
And this came after Witcher 4, Elden Ring Night Rain, and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and then the first real tonal shift of we had a lot of money and we would like to be at this show, please.
Yeah.
Here's a hyper-realistic, alien-looking cat.
We don't
Yeah.
even know what it is.
Well, it's an MMO. I think it might. If it's coming out on Apple Watch, I would assume it's something a bit like a Tamagotchi.
A pet sim
Like
game,
you have
yeah.
a cat and you can take your cat to visit other cats. And you have a little cat house. I went on their Steam page because I was like, what the hell is this? You can have a little cat house.
Is it Tamagotchi kind of thing?
I think so. It doesn't really show you any gameplay or anything. Like I can't really
Feels like
tell,
a
but it
scam.
showed a little house
It's
and
going to
stuff.
data mine your PC or something.
Yeah, well, it's coming next year at some point, so I guess we'll find out in the next 12 months.
This was the moment that we were reminded
Where we
quite
were.
clearly that this was
Yeah.
the
What we
Game
were in
Awards.
for,
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it was such a strong start.
Yeah.
The first few were like really impressive.
Well, yeah, I mean, the first like 15, maybe like first hour
Yeah.
was quite strong. With, I mean, a few weird ones in the middle there, but like, yeah, and then it just went, yeah, well, we'll get to it.
We will get to it.
Here you go.
Thank you for the bauble. I'm skipping ahead now to Fumito Ueda, the creator of Ico or Ico,
It's Eco.
and Shadow of the
That's one way of saying
Colossus
it.
Yeah.
and The Last Guardian. He's finally back. He's working on a new game. Do we have a name for it?
Untitled.
It's untitled, but we saw sort of a little teaser trailer. It's a boy climbing a big robot. There's some sort of big wave of energy or something
Yeah.
barreling
He
towards
spent
him.
ages getting into the
It was like counting
detachable
down.
head.
We were like, get in the
It's
head.
30 seconds until impact, and then he climbs into the head of the robot, and then the robot head detaches, and he sort of hovers up, and then it looks like it's
But it
taken
wasn't
out
soon enough.
anyway.
Yeah.
Because he fannied around, he ended up dying or crashing.
Yeah.
This is a huge deal. Obviously, this guy is one of those video game auteurs that there are only a handful of has created some truly iconic video games. So this will be watched with interest. But in a
We
similar
haven't got
vein,
a name. We also haven't got a release date.
Yeah.
So
it's similar to other things we talked about. There was a vein or a current that ran through tonight's show, which was this game should not have been shown yet.
No.
But it's happening, and this was probably the first of that. So cool, but also bit soon.
That's the thing. I think, although it did feel strong in places, this show, it only felt strong because they were telling us about things that are exciting, but we're not going to get them for 2 or 3 years. So it's
Yeah.
like, okay, anyone could do that. I could say, hey, a brand new Halo is coming in the next 5 to 6 years, and you can be excited about a new Halo.
Yeah.
The Outer Worlds 2 then
Yes!
appeared and added
it
a bit
looked
of
great.
fun and colour to the show. So
Funny
far.
trailer.
Yeah. It's a sequel touting everything that should have been in the first game, and it's coming to Xbox, Game Pass, PC, and PS5.
We
Pleasant
don't-
surprise.
We
25.
don't know if it's going to be like an Indiana Jones situation with PlayStation 5. If it'll
Didn't
come out on
specify.
Xbox and then 6 months later come out on PlayStation 5. But
This-
we don't know yet.
This has always been my concern. We've spoken about it on #content before, about how obviously the Outer Worlds, you make a lot of decisions that affect the world, and you piss people off, or you fix things, kill other important people. If they're going to do a sequel and you want to continue in that universe, it should probably have some kind of save
Yeah.
crossover.
Or if there's a canon version that it's following.
Yeah, they might do that.
So
Some
if
games do
they
that.
if they locked it, because then they bought the bloody hell, what they called it, Obsidian. Then they bought Obsidian, Xbox. This is, and I was wondering, oh, good, okay. So is the sequel then going to be exclusive to Xbox? And if there is a save function, am I just not going to be able to do that? This is pleasant news.
There have
I'm
been
happy
games
about
in the
this.
past that just ask you a sort of a questionnaire at the beginning, don't
Yeah.
they? Like some
Yes.
character will go, so tell me about your adventures last year. And you just answer all the crucial
Yeah.
story questions.
That would work too, but it would be nice to.
Yeah.
announce it, so.
Joseph Fares was here. Effing and Jeffin. Like, it's nobody's business.
Yeah.
He was off his rocker.
Yeah, he was.
Look at my beautiful wife, my beautiful children.
beautiful children.
Get the camera on my beautiful children.
I know that my wife is beautiful too. Show my wife.
She sat
there's the
next to
big bold
Bruce
man,
Willis.
and Bruce Willis is there. I'm like,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, Bruce
you've
Willis
got a
is
beautiful
holding my
bold wife.
seat and my child. Yes, but he was there to announce Hazelight Studios' new game, which is called Split Fiction, and I like the look of
Oh, it
this.
looks brilliant.
It's a bit like It Takes Two. We've got a co-op split screen adventure game. Essentially, the premise is that two writers who have various ideas about what their book should be get sucked into the same orb, and they're like living through their books, but they're being smashed together. So one's
Yeah.
like a sci-fi book and one's like a high fantasy story. So you're kind of going back and forth, and they're like it's implied they're kind of maybe strangers, but they might know each other. So
Yeah, maybe rivals, book rivals.
yeah, exactly. So that is very exciting. And it didn't say it in the trailer, but Joseph can't keep his mouth shut.
No.
He said it's coming March 6th, 2025.
I love
So
Long to wait, yeah.
it hasn't. No one's really confirmed that it's coming March 6th. So
I think I got the impression he broke protocol there just to
Yeah,
tell
just
us.
to
Well,
tell
that
us.
date was floating around before the show.
Oh, was it?
But I think it was just rumored. I don't think it had been confirmed. But people were saying Fares' game is coming. It's
Probably-
called Split Fiction,
yeah.
and it's coming March 25.
probably him
so-
telling everyone.
Yeah, probably.
He's just walking around telling anyone who listen it's coming
Yeah.
March 6th. But this looked great. I can't wait. I love It Takes Two. So I'm excited for this.
Just the pure variety of the gameplay clips that we saw in terms of the different perspectives where one person had, a certain angle on things and were pulling switches to the other person to
abilities
continue.
and things, yeah.
All the set piece bits where they're on motorbikes and sliding down things. It's just going to, even if it played exactly the same as It Takes Two, I don't care because that was so fun.
Yeah.
And this studio can do no wrong for me. I think he's a complete lunatic and I can't wait to
He's a
play
lunatic,
it.
but he makes great games.
Makes great games.
And he's always got a very jazzy shirt on.
Yes.
This definitely looks more like It Takes Two than anything else he's ever done. It seems to have, because he's a bit of a he'll mix it up from one game to the next, but this feels a bit more like
I
his
think
previous
they
venture.
found their rhythm. With
Yeah,
It
which
Takes
is
Two,
not
so
a
we'll
bad
see.
thing at all.
Make
Yeah.
these forever. I'm skipping ahead now to the Borderlands 4 trailer. Randy came out. You nearly screamed
I love Randy Pitchford.
the roof off. It was very exciting.
In his jazzy shirts, I asked if he was going to sell that for £7, and I'll buy it. But
You will.
he couldn't hear
She
me
bloody
because he was
well.
on the telly.
So this was a CG trailer with some gameplay in it. It picks up immediately after the teaser trailer left off. There appear to be loads of psychos, but they're robots instead.
Yeah.
Which one of the things that I said on stream is maybe, assuming this is a different planet, if Lilith has crash landed there, or they, the robot picked up a psycho mask. Maybe they've learned of the psycho culture and have just tried to replicate it, kind of like
Yeah.
Are You My Mummy from Doctor Who
Well,
kind
there
of
was
deal.
like a woman, like a big robot woman with like big robot arms.
Arms, yeah.
Which I don't know if she's like the main baddie or.
So we don't know where this is set. We still don't know a huge amount of information, but we saw the new Vault Hunters look cool. There's a gigantic man with a beard. There's one who I think looks a bit like Mose from the last game.
Yeah.
I think we also saw, is it Flynn, the Irish character? I can't remember what he's called in Borderlands 4. One of the Vault Hunters.
I think it's Flynn.
I think he's in the trailer as well, potentially coming
Oh, is
back as
he?
a. I think he was just really popular because he was one of the only ones who had actually
personality.
funny lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you played as him.
There's a siren.
yeah, of
As
course.
per usual. So hopefully, she'll be fun to play as. We'll see what her siren power is.
Lots of cool melee stuff going on. Someone had like these digi Wolverine type claws, and they were like chaining together offense. And there was a grappling hook as well.
Yep.
Even if it's exactly the same as Borderlands 3, I will play it. I will complain the entire time, but I'll love it.
Me
probably.
too. Me
So,
too.
Randy really tried to milk his time on stage by saying, "Do you want to hear me talk some more, or should I just run the trailer?" And then they ran the trailer, and then he was gone. And there was
Yeah.
no discussion afterwards. He was on stage for
One of the security guards ushered him
Get
off.
off.
I'm
yeah,
sure.
he was on stage for about 8 seconds, and I think he really wanted it to be 80 seconds, but they wouldn't let it happen.
As it stands, 2025 is all we know
Give
about
me
the release
a
date.
gosh darn release date.
Indeed.
Waiting for GTA.
Rather than skip them entirely, I will mash together the two fighting game newses, which is that Final Fantasy XVI's Clive is coming to Tekken 8 as the next DLC character on December the 16th, and Virtua Fighter is back and being made by RGG. But I don't think we got any date. It was another, we are announcing a thing
They're doing
and telling you nothing more.
Yeah.
They're doing a live stream today.
Oh, are they? Okay,
about
well,
it,
fair
like,
enough.
specifically dedicated to it.
Well,
but
okay, that's
as
good.
yet, no information. Thank you so much. Turok Origins.
Yes.
You like dinosaurs? We got dinosaurs.
Yeah, he's back.
It's from Saber. It's coming to PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. No release date. No release window. No release year.
It looks like it's multiplayer.
Yes, but looks like a good time. So if you like dinosaurs, I've got a game for you.
Thank you.
They
I
are.
also wanted to mention Project Century,
Oh, yeah.
which is also being made by RGG, which is the studio that makes Like a Dragon and
Mm-hmm.
so on. It's set in 1915 Japan. It looks unmistakably like a dragon game.
Like a dragon game. Yeah.
However, it looks way more violent,
Mm-hmm.
and it was all set on this sort of ye olde 1915 strip of road, but you were still being approached by random men who just wanted to fight you. But
Yeah.
it was really bloody, like
Yeah.
very,
Yeah.
very
There's a lot
graphic
of
and
gore.
gory. So
Yeah.
it looks like maybe a different approach. Interesting. Anyway, I do like the Like a Dragon and Yakuza games, but they're a bit too long for me. And after like 10, 15 hours, I'm sort of like, I get it. I'm ready for this to be over now. So if they do something fundamentally different, you might have my interest there.
Yeah.
Thank you. There's a Pal World update coming. If they survive that long, which they will, apparently they're not being sued for that much. It's called Fey Break, and it's launching December the 23rd. You guys excited for that?
Nope.
No.
No?
Not interested.
Probably should have skipped it, shouldn't I?
Had
Too
to
late.
had to uninstall Palworld to install Indiana Jones. It's too big.
Oh, rough.
Yeah.
Onimusha is back. I don't know much about this series. It's not one that I've ever really heard of. So I think it's a bit before my time, really.
I've never played it, but I'm aware of it. It's a PS2 series, and that's almost all I know about it.
But people are excited.
Yes.
It's coming 2026, so hopefully it will do well, and we'll see a return of an old classic.
Yeah, not the first. Sorry, not the only one. We're going to see another one later on, which kind of took me by surprise. Yeah.
Thank you very
Sorry,
much.
I
You
was
can
holding on to the
take another
ball
one
there.
if you just want to fiddle with it.
I
idly.
forgot what I was doing with the bauble.
We got a new IP now, which was all CG, but was quite an interesting CG trailer, and everyone was guessing, what is this? What could this possibly be? It's a dark fantasy RPG. It's called The First Berserker Kazan. And it was just a man who died, and then some red spirit got in him, and then he got up and he had armor on, and then he was just stabbing werewolves really violently.
It was quite confusing because in the trailer before, which was Onimusha, there was also some red
it did
spirit
look like it could have been
stuff, and I was like,
connected.
oh, is this the same?
I think they were dragony things, not werewolves.
Oh, were they? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, you might be right. I can't really remember. It's all blurring together.
Yeah.
Some kind of monster.
So it depends how it actually, if it turns out to be like an isometric card game, then, never mind. But the CG trailer, certainly interesting. Nice to see a new IP there. That is coming out. Oh, it's given us a specific release date as well. March the
What a treat.
27th, 2025. You've written here, gave us another CG trailer. So maybe actually we already knew about this.
No, as in like another CG trailer of the day.
Of the night. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's coming out really soon. I'm surprised that we don't have any. Anyway, don't have any gameplay for
There
that.
might be gameplay elsewhere, but we just got a CG trailer today.
There you go.
Thank you. Dying Light The Beast is launching summer 2025. I don't really remember what happened in this, other than that I think someone got injected with something,
Yeah,
didn't they?
the very angry protagonist man. There was like a scientist, and he got injected with something, and
There was some parkouring
There's
over
werewolves.
zombies. There was some spooky stuff. Torches being shone in the faces of scary people in the dark in a forest. Sure, it's more of the same, I guess.
Yeah.
If that's what you want.
yeah, it's coming in the summer. So summer 2025 going to be ram-packed full of
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, next year is apparently going to be absolutely chock-a-block. We're just not allowed to know when things are coming out.
Especially when all the people wanting to release in autumn suddenly realise that's when GTA is coming out and release early in the summer instead.
I'm not going to talk about them too much, but Zenless Zone Zero and Honky Star Rail were there because, of course, they were.
Yes, Game Awards.
What the hell are they doing all the time? But more importantly, from the makers of Overcooked is a new game called Stage Fright, which is a new split-screen co-op adventure, a la It Takes Two.
Yeah, it was a bit It Takes Two.
Yeah, it's got two English characters in it, and they were yapping away to each other and having a great time. And I like the look of this. We've
Yeah.
got no release date or window, but
Don't really know how it's going to play, but
we did see a little glimpse about how it plays.
They were running towards
but,
the camera.
Yeah, but
And
that
one of them
might
had
just
to double
was that
back.
CG or was I couldn't tell.
I'm not
No.
sure,
Well, it was
but I
split
think
screen,
it's
but I
how
don't know,
I
yeah.
think it's roughly how it's going to play. I think they're in two different either universes of a theater. It's two different vibes, but
Overcooked is fine. I like it enough, but I don't really enjoy games like that where it's
Yeah.
cooperative but stressful. I'm not a huge fan. So if they do something that's more of a narrative kind of thing, I'm very interested in that.
Yeah.
I'm sure they've got the chops for it.
Yeah.
Netmarble is making a Game of Thrones game featuring all your favorite actors from HBO's TV show. So this was also a bit of a surprise. They've seemingly retconned in this new man who's really good at fighting and also meets every single main character from Game of Thrones from the TV show.
but they never talk about him in the TV show.
Seemingly it's set during the TV show as well, because they're all alive.
Everyone
who
was
should be
there.
dead.
Jon Snow and Cersei and Varys or Viserys or whatever his name is, that bald
Varys.
guy. Varys, yeah. They were all there.
Sifu was there.
The wall was up. I think the Night King was there as well.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
it's
And
literally
so
during the
timely.
continuity.
Well, that's the thing.
of the show.
It looked visually looked really good. I can't pretend to know Netmarble's pedigree. I don't know what kind of game this is going to be. I would have loved a game like this 5 years ago. It's mental that we're getting it now.
Yeah.
Really
Really
bizarre.
strange.
But anyway, looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
So we'll keep an eye on that. 2025, as with everything else.
Indeed. There were rumors before the show that we might see something from Naughty Dog, maybe even their next project, which was very exciting when we saw the Naughty Dog logo appear on screen. The Last of Us 2 Remastered is coming to PC on April the 3rd, 2025.
Can I say that when we saw the Naughty Dog logo and then this was announced, this did actually, for me, detract from the And One More Thing announcement that we'll get to in a minute. Like, it actively made me less excited. Yeah, it made me less interested.
Yeah.
I need them to be done with The Last of Us forever.
Stop it.
I need them to never make another one because I'm sick of seeing. Like, they've ruined it so bad.
They actually kind of have.
When I see it, I'm like, ugh.
If they'd said not long after part 2, like, and we're making part 3, here's a teaser, I'd have been excited. But now I'm like, I'm almost resentful of that
Yeah, well,
IP.
because of all the remasters and nonsense.
Yeah.
I'm tired of the remastered and remakes like everybody else, but I think even more so, I'm just tired of the conversation about the remasters and remakes and Naughty Dog. I just know that every time they pop up, there's just going to be, everyone's going to have a really strong opinion, and that sadly makes me care about Naughty Dog less.
It's such a shame though, because of where they once stood. You know,
Yeah.
they were one of the best studios out there. Certainly one of the best first-party Sony ones. Anyway.
And now it's Team Asobi. They're the best one ever that have ever existed.
They saved the world.
They did.
all.
Astrobot saved the world.
Literally did.
Also, Shadow is in a car and he's doing some racing in Sonic Team Racing Crossworld.
Remember when I thought that was Virtua Racer for a second, and then a little
And then a
furry
hedgehog.
It looked like a
fist
Batmobile
goes
as
off,
well.
for God's sake.
Yeah.
We got a trailer, a look at Mafia, the Old Country, which was announced earlier this year. It's coming summer 2025 with everything else.
This was an unfortunate one with the trailer going live.
Well, they released a short version of it by accident onto YouTube, so people were getting it as an advert before the show actually started. So, but this was an extended look, and tensions are rising in the Old Country. There's a guy who's like very much like gangster. He's like, "You come to my house and my daughter's winning," and I was like,
That's
"Love
what he
this
did.
guy." So yeah, more Mafia. If you're, I'm not in. I think that I played the definitive edition of the first one.
Not good.
And I thought, this is rubbish. Why does everyone love this so much? But maybe I have to give it
Should
another
try the
go.
second one at the
because-
very least.
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
the third one was okay as well, but not
That's
as good
the
as
thing.
the second.
I didn't play the first one, played the second first, really, really liked it, and then was super excited for 3 because that came ages after, and I just couldn't get into it at all. I found it really repetitive about
Didn't
having
love
to
it, but-
sort of grind out missions before you could move on and increase your reputation. I thought it was really dull, which is a
Yeah.
shame, but like I loved the story and the setting, but never finished it. So I'm hoping this is the slam dunk. This is going to be a good one.
Could be.
Visually looks lovely anyway. What else we got here? Former Telltale developers are making a superhero game called Dispatch starring Aaron Paul and Laura Bailey. Do not watch their horrible scripted stilted conversation.
I
It
thought
was
they were
load of
going to
bollocks.
kiss.
leading into
Yeah, they
them
did look at
announcing
one
it.
point like they
I
were
thought
going
they were
to
going to
kiss.
kiss, and I was like,
It was really awkward and it went on for ages. The game, however, looks really cool. Visually, it looks a lot like Hi-Fi Rush. Someone made the excellent point in the chat that it seemingly is a lot like Invincible in terms of there being a world of superheroes.
Yeah.
It looks funny. It looks well performed, and it's a choose your own adventure narrative game. And
you
that-
essentially like are playing as like a 999 operator, but for superheroes.
and he's a former superhero
Yeah, but
himself.
he
He's
lost
down
his
on his
powers
luck.
and-
Yeah.
yeah.
It honestly, it looks pretty cool. We didn't have a date for this, did
No.
we at all? But
Don't ask silly questions, Ben. Of
well, I
course we
don't know.
didn't have a
Just what
date
they
for it.
showed looked, it wasn't a CG trailer because
No.
that's just how it's going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
It looked
true.
lovely, and
did.
I would just watch that as a show. I think I'd just watch it as a TV show. So that was a real surprise highlight for me.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that.
Talking of surprises, here's the other sort of PS2 era, somewhat beloved game that is coming out of nowhere with a sequel. It's Okami, and it literally just said the words Okami sequel on the screen behind them. It's being made by Capcom and
Hideki Kamiya.
Hideki Kamiya, thank you. And probably has been announced way too soon,
Yes.
but I imagine will look very beautiful on modern, hardware. Because I mean, even the original stands up pretty well graphically. So if they can even get close to replicating that, it's probably going to be a very pretty game.
And the trailer looked very pretty as well. So.
Yeah, we did see a bit of trailer, but again, it was very much a tease
Yeah.
more than anything else.
Then our one more thing came from Naughty Dog again. And this time, it's not The Last of Us.
No.
It's their new sci-fi hack and slash, Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet.
Intergalactic.
It was once again a CG trailer. We got a little bit of a look at how it will play in terms of like she's got a big laser sword.
Yeah.
You're a bounty hunter looking for someone, or you're looking for Kumail Nanjiani.
Yes, he was prominently displayed on the
His
screen.
face was just there, and I was like, "Isn't that guy from Eternals?"
Yeah,
And
it is him.
It was him.
As were the words Sony, Adidas, and Porsche.
Yeah.
For some reason.
It was full of It was full of product placement. I really enjoy. In hindsight, I loved the sort of the stuff that you were pointing out, Peter, in the news video about the chunky 80s analog-y kind of aesthetic for her spaceship.
The
with
screens
big
were like
buttons.
CRTs and flickering and
She's
stuff.
putting CDs on. It's very Alan. Please
it's
add
very
He was
details.
Alan,
playing
yeah.
the Pet Shop Boys.
Yeah, played the Pet Shop Boys. There was, as we talked about in the news video, I was a little concerned that it's leaning very heavily into the Guardians of the Galaxy kind of feeling, sort of approach with the, here we go again in space with my modern tunes, etc. Leaning heavily on a lot of nostalgic stuff in a year that's already had Concord that tried to do that and it went disastrously, and so many other games have also aped that style.
Well, and even the actual Guardians game was, well, not quite Marmite, as that's a bit extreme, but, some people weren't keen on and the actual Guardians game, full stop.
Yeah. I am not really a fan of a hack and slash game. Don't really love sword play in games. She was kind of going up against a big alien monster. Was it a robot?
I can't remember.
We got
Yeah, it was a
like
robot.
a little glimpse at it's kind of a robot thing. Yeah, I mean, I'll have to see more. We haven't got any release date, or anything. So we don't know when this is going to come out. It could
They've been
be
working on it
years
for
from
4
now.
years
Yeah.
per Neil Druckmann's tweet, at least.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, really, Naughty Dog, one thing they've never done amazingly well, I mean, it's been better recently, but they've never done amazing gunplay, particularly. No one says, you know what I love about The Last of Us?
I thought The
combat.
Last of Us Part 2 was really good.
Well, I liked
shooting-wise.
the
Yeah.
getting up close and doing melee and throwing bottles
a lot
and
of stabbing dogs.
things like that.
and stuff,
But, I liked stabbing the dogs, but I didn't think it was anything to write home about necessarily, the combat. But so maybe they'll be really good at doing hack and slash stuff, or maybe they'll be rubbish at it. Who knows?
I'd be surprised if it's not good.
Yeah,
but
me too.
from this debut trailer, I can't say I'm excited, and I can't
need to
really
see
tell you
more.
why. I don't really know why. I'm just not really feeling it. It could be just the tarnishing of Naughty Dog as a brand over the past few years. It could be that we didn't really see much of anything, or it could be that it's such a departure that it feels like this could have been made by anyone without seeing gameplay.
Well, that's
It
what
could have
I
been made
just-
by anyone.
I feel a little bit like it looked a little bit generic. Like we see a lot of like these CG trailers of like person on a spaceship
Yeah, we have
staring at our
seen
planet,
a lot
and
of
they're
that.
gonna go down and do the planet, and you're like gonna have to kill aliens and robots and stuff. And I feel like we've seen that a lot in recent years. So I hope that this stands out in a good way. I hope that we get something special from it, but I think
Yeah.
we have to see more.
I think I've really just been quietly holding out hope that a Nathan Drake's daughter sequel series would come along instead, or even if it was a brand new thing, that it would still, they maybe would sort of slightly return to the swashbuckling, even if it's not about a treasure hunter or an archaeologist or anything like that, that it would be something a little bit sort of crazy and look at the fun we're having, we're in danger but we're having a good time doing it. And maybe that is what we're going to see here, but tonally I didn't get that immediately from this teaser. It looked like a bit more serious than the
She'll
likes of
start running
Uncharted.
away from a Jeep on fire and we'll be like, okay, it's a Naughty Dog game.
Yeah, maybe.
This is exactly what we want. So that was the big final thing that was there.
Yeah.
I know we weren't going to go through all the awards, but if I read out, if we do it really quickly and I just read out the name of the award and you answer the game.
Yeah.
Should we do it? Most anticipated game.
Astro, oh wait, you're going from the bottom.
I'm going from the bottom.
Grand Theft Auto 6.
Best adaptation.
Oh, Fallout.
Best debut indie game.
Balatro.
Best multiplayer game.
Helldivers 2.
Best sports racing game.
EA Sports FC 25.
Best sim strategy game.
Frostpunk 2.
Best family game.
Astrobot.
Best fighting game.
Tekken 8.
Best role-playing game.
Metaphor Refantasio.
Best action-adventure game.
Astrobot.
Best action game.
Black Myth Wukong.
Best VR AR game.
Batman Arkham Shadow.
Innovation in accessibility.
Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown.
Best community support.
Baldur's Gate 3.
Best mobile game.
Balatro.
Best independent game.
Balatro.
Best ongoing game.
Helldivers 2.
Games for impact.
Never.
That's one way of saying it. Best performance.
Melina Jurgens as Senua in Senua Saga Hellblade 2.
Best audio design.
Senua Saga Hellblade 2.
Best score and music.
Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Best art direction, sorry.
Metaphor Refantasio.
Best narrative.
Metaphor Refantasio.
Best game direction.
Astrobot.
Players Voice Award.
Black Myth Wukong.
And Game of the Year.
Astrobot.
Na, 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 na.
I am Astrobot.
Any surprises there?
Astrobot.
Astrobot winning Game of the Year was a surprise.
No,
A pleasant one, to be sure, or whatever it is. What's the quote?
We didn't.
It
Something
was a
like
good
that.
surprise.
Yeah.
We obviously going into this were not aware of the fact of the weighting of the awards, which apparently, what was it, 90%?
It's something like, it's a massive portion is the jury voting.
Right,
Which
so
is
only
like the
like
industry professionals.
a very small percentage is actual player vote, which is why we all thought Black Myth Wukong might do it
Yeah.
because there's a
And they won the
phenomenally
Players' Voice
large
Award.
player base. Which is probably why. But actually, with the jury having their say more so than the players, Astrobot did it. Elden Ring did not. And that is lovely to see.
Yeah.
And I think that's the way to do it for particularly something as prestigious as Game of the Year. I think it's important that for the most part, it's being voted on by people who presumably have played all of those games or at least are able to have a very good objective discussion amongst themselves about the pros and cons of the ones they have played.
Yeah.
Whereas if it was heavily weighted to audience vote, people are basically just going to vote for one of the ones they've played and enjoyed, and they might not have played the others, and that's not necessarily indicative of the quality. If I'd been voting on the Game of the Year nominees, I could have only, in good faith, voted for Astrobot because it's the only one I played. But that's not to say, I mean, evidently it is seemingly the best game based on this this award, but it wouldn't necessarily mean it was the best one just because it's the only one I've played. So it is good that they have a jury who have a lot of sway on this, I think.
I enjoyed that they shouted out Nintendo without shouting out Nintendo for their win. I'm glad Astrobot did well because, like I said, we really enjoyed it, and it is just an absolute delight.
It's
and
lovely.
a lovely time, and I think it goes to show that like people do want games like Astrobot, and people enjoy it.
It felt like a victory for the kind of more focused, not overblown, bloated, massive game. It's a bit more linear, a bit simpler, but still just as much fun.
Yeah.
As for the rumors, no GTA, no Half-Life 3, no Bloodborne 2. We hold out hope every year. What did you think generally to the quality of the big announcements this year?
I mean, again, I would say that there were lots of, or a fair number of big, exciting names, recognizable brands, some things we've not seen in a long time, so it's nice to see those coming back. But with the caveat of most of them do not have either any release date at all, full stop, or at least not a very specific one, or they do have one, but it's like 2026, and it's like, you don't really need to be showing us almost nothing of that game at this stage. Wait until you've got something to show us. So I think the names were good. The presence of certain things, that was a good thing, but not necessarily the time we're going to have to wait for any of those things.
Yeah. I'm excited for a few of the things that have been announced. I'm a big Borderlands fan, so I'm excited to see that. I love the Outer Worlds, so I'm glad we get to see another look at the second one. But yeah, like Peter said, there's just nothing I really feel like to look forward to because we haven't got dates for these things. Like a lot of the time when I see a year, I'm not going to get committed to it coming out next year at all. Like for some of these games, like Borderlands 4, for example, I'm almost not convinced it's coming out next year. Just simply because like it feels like there would be more, we'd have seen more of it for coming out in the next 12 months.
Yeah.
There's like I said, there's lots of exciting things. There's lots of games to look forward to, but it's how long do we have to look forward to them for? And I don't understand why no one's doing release dates. I don't understand why we've come away from the Game Awards
It
with.
could be GTA.
I think it
5.
genuinely might be what we talked about earlier, on the podcast.
But that's mental.
It is
Yeah, it is,
insane.
yeah.
Because some of these games are absolutely massive. And even if they're competing against GTA,
I think it's just like as we said earlier, it's just such an unprecedented thing that these games that have cost potentially hundreds of millions to make, you just can't take the risk.
Yeah.
You just can't, which is crazy. How did you guys think it stacked up compared to previous Game Awards, like especially last year, which did feel quite hard work?
Yeah, I think it was an
Yeah.
improvement on last year for sure. But again, I just keep coming back to, I'm like in my head, I'm like, oh yeah, there was some good stuff, and then there's a little voice going, you're not going to play any of it for a year and a half, probably, or a year in some cases, hopefully. But I mean, my highlight personally was a double whammy in that it looked really good anyway, and we got a date, and the date is soon. That's a triple whammy, in fact, which is Joseph Fares' game Split Fiction.
Yeah.
Looks great, and it's coming soon, March the 6th. He told us when it's
like,
coming.
I don't care about your GTA. My game's coming out. That's all we should be talking
Honestly, I
about.
think out of everything, that was the thing I was most excited for. There were some probably bigger names than that were present, but
But we can see it on the
see
horizon.
it's there,
Yeah.
and I know I'm going to have a good time.
What did you think?
I thought of the show in general.
Yeah.
I thought it was good. I thought the pacing was a bit wonky in that it started really strong and I feel like it picked up momentum towards the end, but that there was like a real lull. I did think that there were actually far fewer, I mean the whole thing's an advert, but far fewer adverts than
Yes, I
previous
agree.
years. We didn't have energy drinks. We had a lot of like, get this chip for your computer, but I don't think it was as in your face as in previous years.
No.
I like the fact that the winners got time to speak this year and that they were willing to poke
Yeah, they
fun.
did actually. Yeah,
They were willing to poke fun at themselves and make a joke at their own expense. Although I do think that the Muppets repeatedly pointing out that this show was too long, it was boring, and that Jeff's an idiot felt a bit on the nose.
Yeah. Like
and
some intern's written that and then been fired.
it felt a bit pointed, not in a cruel way, but in a sort of like, well, if you know this, then why are you still doing
Yeah.
it this way, kind of thing. But I thought overall it was way better structured than previous years.
Yeah.
And I thought the awards, as prestigious or not prestigious as you may consider them to be, it being on a big advert show, largely went to the right places. And my personal highlight, I think, was the really lovely man who
I was
won
about
the.
to say that.
What
What was
It's
the
not-
name of the award
It's
again?
not on the list. It wasn't on any lists that I could find. I
was
think
like
it's
for
just
change
like
or something?
the Game Awards. Yeah, like for
action or for change.
Yeah, like a special community person who's
who's
like
really helped
kind
the
of achievement.
industry.
Yeah. So do you want to explain a bit about what he actually did?
Yeah, I can't remember his name.
I'll have a look.
Yeah, that would be grand. He essentially saw all of the layoffs that were happening and has made a website where it lists all of the openings in the game industry, all like across every single studio, big and small, and also has like a help to write these, help write your CVs or
Like
get your
coaching
stuff,
and
like
stuff,
coaching.
yeah.
And he is just a lovely man who decided for no reason, just he wanted to help people find jobs. And he was saying something like he's managed to get like 300 and something people
Yeah, I
into
think
work.
it was hundreds. Yeah.
And yeah, he was like, I've loved this industry and I wanted to help, and I'm glad that I could do something to make it better.
I was so worried they were about to start playing him out because he talked for a little while, which was fine. I was happy to hear him, but I thought, is someone in a director's gallery somewhere not happy to
With
hear
the
him talking?
stopwatch on.
Yeah, but they didn't, which was
No.
nice.
And he thanked his parents, his grandparents.
It's the Game Changer Award, and it went to Amir Satvat in honor of his commitment to helping game developers affected by layoffs and studio closures find jobs through a job database.
I
It
was
felt like-
lovely.
sorry, carry on.
No, go for it.
It felt like there were a few moments in the show where I was really happy to know that, I think I said earlier, or maybe it was in the news video, that there was a room full of, quite high-ranking publishers and developers and directors and things listening to things like, it's been really hard for a lot of people job-wise because of all the layoffs, and hey, if you want to have a really successful game that people love, you don't necessarily have to pack it with microtransactions. Joseph Fares said it as well.
Yeah.
No bull flip, no
Yeah.
none of
Yeah.
this, just fun game or whatever.
And I mean
And
Yeah.
before the game of the year as well, it was the same thing was
Sven
said.
from Larian,
Yeah.
he really went in. He said, if you get played off this year, just come back next year and talk for 3 minutes. They can't stop you.
Yeah.
And yeah, he was very much like, honest and just was like, people don't want this, we don't want this, let's make good games again. The energy was just really nice from like
It was
a lot
way
of people on
more
stage.
positive,
And
yeah.
I think Jeff was a lot more
Laid back.
like he really took on board what everyone said last year, like the issues people had with it, the issues people had with him and his like kind of complete ignorance to what has been happening. And it did feel like he's taken a lot on board from like previous shows. And I think that's a great thing. And it's lovely to see that he's, you know, taken some accountability and improved what is a massive platform and a great platform to talk about these things.
Yep. Fewer minions. Fewer Muppets. They're the same in my head.
Were the fewer?
No, as
No,
in
he
I would
wants
like.
fewer.
Oh, right, okay.
I would like
There
fewer.
was actually
fewer
one more
Muppets.
than
Yeah, there
normal.
was. And they
I
kept
would-
coming back, which I don't think Gonzo did. I
No,
think he
Gonzo
only
just
had one
came,
moment.
and
one and
Animal
done.
just came on and then wandered
Yeah.
off. Yeah.
Fewer Muppets. I'd like less awkward, stilted conversations between presenters of awards where they just go waffle on for ages about nothing before doing the awards. I'd also like fewer musical performances. Orchestra, great. If it's game music, fantastic. Snoop Dogg being there was a novelty. 21 Pilots like warbling away at us doing music from, what was it, Arcane?
Yeah.
Great. I mean, they're all phenomenal musicians, very capable, lovely music, but it goes on for a long time and it's a real pace killer.
I really did not know why Snoop Dogg was there. At this point, it's like 3:30 a.m.
It's got gin
was
and juice.
drunk, and I was like, I'm glad to experience Snoop Dogg, but
Sipping on gin
it was
and
like
juice.
30 years of Snoop Dogg.
It was very weird.
Okay.
I do think that,
To
you
make
know,
headlines, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Well,
he's
it is.
He's a showman. He wants the publicity of Snoop
Yeah.
Dogg.
yeah. But I do think that it could have been half an hour shorter without losing any one of those game trailers. Because, you know, everyone deserves their place to show their game off. So I'm not even suggesting, some of those people shouldn't have been there. But as you say, some of the musical numbers and some of the waffling on before awards were handed out. If you cut all of that out, then potentially you could have had at least half an hour shaved off the show.
I want to hear more from nice, humble people surprised by receiving awards. I don't want to hear people that look like
Doing a bit.
they've never met before in their entire lives have a horribly uncomfortable back and forth. The auto cues seem to be met. Oh, and Harrison Ford was
Harrison
there as
Ford
well.
was there.
Forgot to mention that.
Yeah.
Bless
Oh
him.
my God, Harrison Ford was there. Why was he there?
Oh, he looked so tired, didn't
Yeah,
he?
he did.
But he did a great job, and I genuinely do believe that he is aware of Troy Baker's performance.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
he
he said
seemed
he-
very
yeah,
he seemed very appreciative of that. Also, Todd Howard, world's smallest man, is something we need to talk about as well.
Oh
Never
yeah,
noticed
They
that
the-
kept
small.
the
putting him next
Fallout
to
TV show.
giants.
When he went up with Ellie Purnell and another man, a ginormous man.
I think he's an actor. I recognize his face. I can't remember what he is in Fallout. If he is,
I'm
in
not
Fallout.
sure. But they went up to accept the award for best adaptation, and when he was stood next to Ellie Purnell, he was like, okay, she's wearing heels, like, fair enough. And then he stood in front of the giant man, and he looks like he was 2 foot tall.
Yeah.
Like, it was crazy
And
the
it
way
was
he
not-
looked.
And they stood him next to Troy Baker as well, who's also famously
Giant
very
man.
tall. Yeah.
They're really just trying to make us think that Todd Howard is 2.5 foot
That's
tall.
the thing. I don't think Todd Howard probably isn't tiny, but he's
No.
probably shorter than average, and then is being stood next
He's
to
got Tiny
massive
Peter
people.
syndrome.
He has, exactly. Yeah, he's on screen with tall people.
He's a normal-sized man,
Yeah.
but his friends are all 7 foot tall.
Tiny Todd.
Tiny Todd.
Ah, bless him. I can't help. It may just be the complete delirium, but I can't help but come away from this year's awards feeling optimistic
Yeah.
and largely positive about it as well.
Yeah.
I don't think there were any real sticking points that were like, this was bad. This was genuinely like night ruining. There are definitely games that I'm looking forward to coming out the back of this. And yes, of course, there were loads of anime games and X genre.
Not as many as
Well, that's what I was about to say.
normal,
Yeah, loads of X genre games that usually get packed in one after another in like a almost sizzle reel between bigger things where they've obviously paid to be there. And it didn't feel as intrusive this year as it has in previous years.
though. Yeah.
I was quite. You know what, Jeff? Fair plays, man. You did a good job. I
That's
enjoyed
one for
this
a
one.
while.
Yeah.
Probably.
I also think, like, just looking at the games that are coming out and like what we've got to look forward to, there's quite a lot of variety in it. I felt like for the last few years we've come away being like, well, there was 17 space games and that is difficult to differentiate between them.
Yeah.
But this one feels like every game had its own thing and style and
Yeah.
story, and it feels like there's something for everyone.
Yeah.
Which was nice.
Absolutely. Before we move on to the outro, shall I open my pack of cards? I can
your
finally
Pokemon's
finally
cards.
do it. Here we go. I'm going to open a Charizard pack because there are some cards I need that are in the Charizard pack, supposedly, even though
Okay.
I haven't had them for ages. Who'd like to do the honors? Who would like to open the pack?
Me.
Ashton would like to. Okay. Here we go. It's loading. Oh, no, it's not. There we go. Right. Swipe it. Ka-chow. We've got Spearow,
We know
Good,
that one.
bad.
Ekans.
Good,
know that one.
bad.
I've got that one. Vulpix. I've got that
I know
one.
all of these ones.
Poliwhirl. I've got that one.
Oh.
Kadabra. I've got that one. That's another.
A
That's
full
another bum
Gen
pack.
1 pack
Woof.
there.
It's lovely though. That's
Stinkers.
nice. Thank you for opening my
That's
pack.
okay.
There we are. Anyway, let us know what you thought of the Game Awards down below. What are you excited for? What are you turned off by? Let us know. There's a few places you can find us around the internet. Peter's going to tell you a couple of them right now.
You can find us at youtube.com and twitch.tv/Team TripleJump. Loads of videos on YouTube and most of our streams on Twitch and occasionally on YouTube for special occasions like the Game Awards. And you can use a Twitch sub as part of your Amazon Prime subscription if you have one, at no extra cost, and you get all the benefits of being a subscriber.
We are on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and Blue Sky, on all of which we are at Team Triple Jump or the equivalent, and patreon.com/Team Triple Jump if you would like to support us.
TripleJ.mup is our website. That's where you can find links to everything that we're doing. And why not wishlist our video game by going to triplejU.mp/video game? It's on Steam. Finally, why not leave us a 5-star review on your platform of choice? It helps. Something to do with Al Gore's rhythms. Thank you so much. Just enough time for this week's sponsor.
I'm kind of raging that we didn't win most anticipated game
Yeah.
for
There's
our
always
game.
next year.
Yeah,
It's always next year.
yeah.
Which of course is, I haven't got it written down, but I remember vaguely, it's a children's educational book from Disney. It ties into a video game that just came out. It's called Indiana Jones, That Grape's Purple.
Very good. Good remembering. I could not remember it.
There we are. I was thinking about it on the way in. This is what was occupying my mind. Lovely. Thank you so much, everyone. Look after yourselves. We will see you next week. Bye.